opportunity for them to flip long shot chance of happening at this point. We also have one of the bigger upsets, or maybe not as much of an upset as it was before, because, going into it, Congressman Corey Mills was the heavy favorite to win re-election. Then Ryan Elijah started to creep in, and next thing you know, he was then the heavy favorite. So Ryan Elijah winning 47% of the vote, ousting incumbent Republican Corey Mills, who was going for a third term as the 7th District representative in the House of Representatives. Congress Mills plagued by a number of different issues and scandals that were out there. And ultimately, this led to two Republican members of Congress, Anna Paulina Luna and Mike Karadopoulos, endorsing against him, endorsing Ryan Elijah, the former Fox 35 news anchor, to be the next congressman. And now Elijah is going to go into November as the heavy favorite to keep this seat red. And we also have, okay, that does it for election results that we have at least readily available. We had some other ones like Debbie Wasserman Schultz kind of pulling off an unlikely victory, or maybe may not have been unlikely. But it was an interesting seat where you had, this congresswoman, former DNC chairwoman, who was running to be a congresswoman who was kind of redistricted. So the seat she was running, it was a majority black district. She did not have the endorsement of Hakeem Jeffries, but she was running against Sheila Sherfulus McCormick, who was a member of Congress who was facing an indictment by the Department of Justice over allegations she misused COVID-19 relief funds. So that certainly was a race that stood out quite extensively. What time do we have, y'all? 3:01? Okay, so we are in our no break time here, so we're kind of just stalling as President Trump is expected to speak in just a little bit. So we're just going to kind of hang out here. And what was that? You got a Trump statement? Okay, yeah. We can read off President Trump's statement on Ryan Elijah winning. I told Congressman Corey Mills of Florida, a friend of mine, to get out of the race, but he wouldn't listen. He thought he could win, so who can blame him? We now have a
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on All Day Live. I'm Courtney Godfrey. We are going to go straight away to the Minneapolis City Council, where the Public Health, Safety, and Equity Committee right now is taking up the issue of felons being allowed to own, quote unquote, dangerous dogs or pets. It's called the Bark Down Barriers Ordinance. And they have been hearing public comment for the last little bit here. And now we are hearing from City Council members. So let's dip in live to take a listen to what City Council members are saying about this ordinance.
Civil rights ordinance adding justice impacted into our civil rights protected classes. And I see this as another step forward in that direction, and really excited to vote for this. So I just want to add more information and thank staff for the presentation as well and the work behind this. Next up, we have Councilmember Whiting.
Thank you, Councilmember Chavez. And Director, I have a few questions for you related to, and one, obviously I'm co-author, so in support of the ordinance, but I've had a few residents kind of reach out with, I think, confusion. I think that the title of the amendment itself, I think, is not as clear about what this ordinance is actually changing. Can you kind of speak to, it is my understanding that this ordinance does not allow individuals to have future ownership of dangerous or potentially dangerous animals. And this isn't changing that. Like, those restrictions still exist for anyone as they would for anyone in the city of Minneapolis. Can you kind of talk about that process broadly?
Yeah. Through the chair, Councilmember Whiting, thanks. Great question. So that is correct. The title is kind of a little bit misleading and maybe not fully encompassing of what the actual amendment is here, but potentially dangerous, and order for destruction are the three different levels in which our office can declare an animal. This mostly applies for dogs, but certainly can for cats as well. But our office reviews anytime there's an animal bite or an incident or an attempt for an animal to attack a person when it's reported either through 311 or 911. And those cases are all reviewed by primarily myself, and I take everything into account. Our animal control officers meet with the victim of the incident or the animal bite. We meet with the owners, any witnesses that were involved. I review all that information. We look at other factors. Has this animal had any prior bite history? Is this owner had any prior other history with our office as well, and or in an associated jurisdiction? And those are all factors we use to take into consideration. And we are taking a very progressive approach because we understand accidents happen. And no matter what, we want people to be able to own pets, right? And we need to, however, put restrictions in place for when they misbehave and when they are posing a risk to the public safety, and that's where the declaration process comes in. So potentially dangerous is the least severe. Some of those requirements, just to name a few, are a muzzle and a 3-foot leash they have to wear and be walked by an adult only. They have to register annually with us, and our office goes out, our staff, and checks on those owners and pets every 6 months is required. Dangerous is the next level of declaration. Those are all the same requirements, the sterilization, which is also for potential, the muzzle, the 3-foot leash, but it's also governed by state statute, so it follows the animal anywhere in the state of Minnesota. They also have to have signage, yellow signs that the state produces to be displayed in the front and rear of their property, just notifying folks that a dangerous animal does live there. And they also are required to have a $300,000 insurance policy to prevent against any potential injuries that may reoccur given the nature of the seriousness of the declaration. And then destruct is our reserve for the most severe crimes, maybe where an animal is already dangerous and it gets out and does some significant damage, then we would elect to do that. And again, the ordinance is not changing any of those restrictions. It's actually just adding, removing the piece about felony specific cases, and also just adding in some extra protections that we can do to help our four-legged friends be safe from people who have had prior animal cruelty convictions.
Thank you, Director. And right, and I think it's really helpful, the clarification there specifically about, this is not removing any level of the process that you just laid out. It just, I think, ameliorates this for everyone. And in particular, right, and I think the piece that we are, I think, is quite helpful that is overburdensome in this ordinance is the kind of 20-pound piece. And so maybe, again, if I am incorrect here in my own assumption of what that means is any person with a violent felony conviction as laid out by the statute has to go through this process currently if they want an animal of any sort, even if it's the nicest animal in the world, over 20 pounds. Is that correct, or is it like a dangerous, one of the three that you laid out, plus 20 pounds?
It is currently any justice-impacted resident that has a felony under one of those qualifying convictions, they have to pose a one-time $250 application fee, regardless of the potentially dangerous or dangerous designation.
Right. So long as it is over or with the 20-pound moniker.
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is all. Thank you so much.
Councilmember Vita.
Thank you, Chair Chavez. Thank you to the community members who got this going. This is really cool. As a dog owner and a dog lover, I actually believe you should at least have 2 dogs. One is so lonely, not only for you, for them. They need friends just like we do. And I often say, you know, the human owners put so much stress on one pet because we have so much to give them when we come home or when we're going through tough times and happy times that you should at least have 2. And so I'm grateful to anyone who wants one. Pets are a lot of work, especially dogs, especially fosters. I ran into Tony a while ago and I asked about something similar, and he told me that some of my colleagues were working on this already. So I'm so proud of the work that's being done around here. Nothing we've done in our life should stop us from loving pets, and I think one of you said that. I certainly am aware that people harm animals, and there are protections that are in place and should remain in place so that never happens. So I appreciate those guardrails still remaining there to make sure that our furry pets and family members are are protected. But I'm proud of the work that this community is doing around this. I think folks who are justice impacted should speak up for themselves and say, I want a pet just like everyone else does, and I don't want to have to pay extra. Because $250 is a lot. When you're a pet owner, there's lots of expenses that come with it that you don't know. That's a medical bill, that's dog food, that's a pet sitter, that's out at a dog park or something, wearing them out. When you have to go to work, you want them to be tired sometimes when you get home. And so $250 is a lot of money that I would love to be seen. I would love to see be used towards something else for your pet, a toy or something other than fees that no one else has to pay. And you certainly should not be penalized for having furry family members. So thank you all so much for this. Definitely support this. And I'm proud of my colleagues who brought this forward and who's doing this work to make sure folks get to have furry loved ones in their care as well. And like I said, have two. Why not? Thank you.
Love it. All right, colleagues, no one else is on cue, so the clerk may call the roll.
Councilmember Payne.
Aye.
Greenville.
Aye.
Vita.
Aye.
Whiting.
Aye.
Vice Chair Stevenson.
Aye.
And Chair Chavez.
Aye.
That is 6 ayes.
And that motion carries. Thank you all for being here. We will now move on to the receive and file part of the agenda. Our last item, receiving a report regarding the opioid response and mobile medical units. I will invite Public Health Initiatives Director Luisa to begin that presentation. Welcome.
All right, you've been listening live to the Public Health, Safety, and Equity Committee meeting there at Minneapolis City Hall. The City Council today taking up a few issues, but that one that we were listening to right there had to do with convicted felons being able to own particular pets. The ordinance is called Bark Down Barriers, and it would remove Minneapolis restrictions on pet ownership that apply solely because someone has a prior felony conviction. So as you heard there, it sounded like the entire committee voted in favor of allowing felons to have pets in this special vote. I believe now it goes to the full city council before it becomes an official city ordinance. All right, it is Wednesday afternoon, August 19th. Let's do a check of your headlines. Attorneys are facing off in federal court today over Minnesota's new nudification law, which bans AI-generated nude images of people without their consent. Elon Musk's AI company, xAI, is challenging the law, arguing it violates free speech rights. Attorney General Keith Ellison says the law is narrowly tailored to stop a growing form of image-based sexual abuse and argues xAI is unlikely to succeed in its challenge. State lawmakers, along with AG Ellison, held a press conference earlier today. Here's a portion of that press conference.
The consequences of this nudification technology are vast. Nudification technology makes it so that any person anywhere who is near someone with a phone could be turned into child sexual abuse material or non-consensual pornography or have image-based sexual violence occur. That is not the world we want to live in. This is technology that does not need to exist. Our law is narrow. It is specific to the conduct we want to regulate. It implicates nothing else. And we took a tremendous amount of time to make sure that we were able to get a very good law on the books. And we did it over the course of 2 years. At no point did Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, and his $1 trillion and his company come and say, hey, fix this, please don't pass this, this isn't good or helpful, here's how we can work with you. Literally not a word until 3 days before the law was set to go into effect. The harm has been immense. Research has shown that 96% of nudified images are non-consensual and that 99% are of women and children. The problem is vast. It is not hypotheticals, it is real. This is the real harm. And so we are proud to be here today to watch the Attorney General and his office defend this law vigorously because Minnesotans want this to remain in effect. And Minnesota was the first state in the nation to ban nudification technology, but we won't be the last. There are more than a dozen states who are lined up to pass similar legislation, and we are so proud to partner with those lawmakers on both sides of the aisle to get this done. It was astounding to listen to XAI say, oh, we too are against child sexual abuse material. We too are against image-based sexual violence. And yet they provide the tool to people to do it. They are not some third-party bystander. They're not a platform in which people are uploading it. They are giving people the tool to do it. And so they like to pretend like they're just as upset, they're just as shocked, they're just as horrified about this content appearing on their platform, and yet they are the ones who are giving people the tool to do it. I don't buy it at all. And in fact, what I loved hearing in the courtroom was that they have drawn a geocache around the state of Minnesota to limit image-based sexual abuse via Grok, which is amazing. It means that today, since August 1st, Minnesota has been the safest state in the nation to be a person out in public and not be nudified by random people. And so they are not innocent bystanders here, and they can't continue to pretend like they are. They're giving people the tools to do this. They could choose not to, like literally every other AI company, major AI company chooses to do, and they choose not to.
All right, and Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison was busy today because he was also releasing new documents accusing Fleet Farm of ignoring warnings about a customer who was buying guns for straw purchases. Ellison sued the retailer in 2022, alleging it negligently sold 37 guns to straw purchasers, including one later used in the 2021 truck park shooting in St. Paul. Fleet Farm settled the case for $1 million in February, but the company continues to deny the allegations. Do we have sound from that? We do. Ellison was holding a press conference earlier to address this. Here that is.
Gun dealers like Fleet Farm sell an inherently dangerous product, and they're required by law to ensure that they're only selling firearms to those who can lawfully possess them for their own use. Fleet Farm failed to perform that crucial function. Now, in October 2022, my office worked to hold Fleet Farm accountable for its inaction, just as the straw purchaser and the shooters were held responsible for their actions. We filed a civil lawsuit against Fleet Farm alleging that they negligently entrusted firearms to straw purchasers, they aided and abetted straw purchasers' violation of the law, and permitted public nuisance that endangered public health and the safety of Minnesotans. This last February, we obtained a settlement with Fleet Farm for the company to pay a $1 million sum to take significant steps across Minnesota stores to improve detection and prevention from straw buying. Also, as part of the settlement we won, Fleet Farm has turned over 694 internal documents to the University of California at San Francisco and their industry documents library. Now, I want you to know these documents did not come easily. During litigation, Fleet Farm fought tooth and nail to keep us from seeing them, but we moved the court to compel Fleet Farm to release them to us, and we
All right, and another story involving Attorney General Keith Ellison today. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is firing back at Ellison and the state of Minnesota over a lawsuit demanding an extradition of ICE agent Christian Castro. Castro is accused of shooting a man during immigration operations in Minneapolis in January and later falsely reporting what happened. Abbott is refusing to approve the extradition, citing Minnesota's handling of fraud cases and saying he doesn't trust state officials. Minnesota argues Abbott is legally required to return Castro so he can face the charges here. This was Governor Abbott earlier today addressing this extradition lawsuit.
Well, first of all, I don't trust Tim Walz on anything, let alone something like this. But listen, while they're making demands, I got a demand of my own. And that is, it's time for Minnesota to step up and repay the United States of America and Americans for all the fraud that they've committed in their state.
All right, that's about all he had to say, not directly responding, but clearly saying he will not be complying with that extradition request. 3 men accused of being members of the Muddy Gang have agreed to stay away from this year's Minnesota State Fair. The agreement filed today also bars them from designated areas around the fairground during the fair's run. It comes after Ramsey County said Attorney General Keith Ellison sued to keep rival gangs from associating at the fair, citing concerns over potential violence. And lastly today, MyPillow founder and CEO, or former CEO, Mike Lindell, says he'll pay for a statewide hand recount of Minnesota's Republican primary ballots after losing to Lisa Dameth by more than 45,000 votes. Lindell claims there were irregularities in the election night reporting data, but state officials have not identified evidence of fraud or problems with the results. All right, helping me out today, special guest, executive producer Paul Milgate. Paul, you only join us one day a week these days, but
special guest. I don't know about special guest.
Yes.
Guest.
No, because you only come on the show once a week now. We've got Kara, we've got Grace. They do a wonderful job,
They do a better job than me, so you don't need me.
That's not what I said.
What it is.
No,
you're
you're handling all kinds of stuff behind the scenes for streaming across the country. So
busier than anyone is Keith Ellison today. I mean, I would not want to be in his shoes. He definitely needs a drink at the end of today to sit down. Once business closes at 5 o'clock, Keith Ellison needs to knock off because he's just got a lot on his plate today.
I kept looking up at the TV today going, oh, there he is again. Another press conference.
I mean, we've made the joke about Erin May Quaid in the past when they were in session and she was constantly bouncing from one committee to another. I think we counted she went to 7 different committee meetings in one day once. So it's like they're in good company with each other today.
I guess so. And you're in good company with me.
Well, I try.
You try. You know, I before the show today, I had to go get a quick adjustment. And let me tell you, getting your back and neck cracked before a 3-hour stretch, it's the way to go, Paul.
What was it like when you competed? Did you get adjusted and stuff constantly when you were competing?
Yeah, I was spoiled, Paul, because we traveled with a physical therapist, and a memo did go out at one point that I
said,
think...
Courtney Godfrey, please stop getting adjusted and getting massages every day. They're actually for the necessary people that need them. They're not just for relaxation.
Oh my gosh, the fact that you knew that.
I'm just making a guess.
A memo went out and was like, no names will be named, but just remember, the physical therapist is not your personal masseuse. I was like, well, I mean, just a little something right here.
You know, I worked at a company once that they would come around every day. Everyone got a 15-minute massage at their desk.
What?
Yeah.
Can you call the bosses? We have a lot of great benefits here at Fox.
We do. We have really good benefits here, but we don't have that one.
We're really lacking the massage therapist.
The massage thing, yeah. And the drinks cart came around at 4 o'clock every day too.
No.
Yeah, it was an advertising agency. We're talking a completely different thing.
Listen, I have friends that work at the ad agency, and I think that they're all just drunk by 4 o'clock. Why do they all have bars? Why does every ad agency have like open bars?
Creatives. That's what it is.
We can be creative without alcohol, okay? It's 2026. It's and for the love of everything holy, please book an Uber. Okay?
Yes, absolutely. We've seen too much stuff this week about stories of people drinking. We definitely don't need people drinking and driving. Absolutely not.
No. How does this always turn into a PSA about drinking and driving?
No drinking and driving.
It's like,
you've heard it here first. We don't want it.
But we do want a beverage cart.
Wouldn't say no.
I'll Uber home. Do you know, I'm already very unhinged on TV every day. I mean, it's 3 hours of unscripted television, so you get the raw, real me. If we add in like a little martini,
would never do that.
A little martini at 2 o'clock. Could you imagine we're sitting here doing the show and I'm just...
Well, I'm excited with our segment, Wait What's Happening, that we have, where we react to some social media videos that are going viral online. There's one I'm really excited to play for you today. I'm hoping you haven't watched it in full yet, but when we watch it together, I think, that one would be completely...
Do you know what's not fair? You guys actually tell me not to watch the videos ahead of time because...
Yeah, so that we get your genuine reaction.
And sometimes that reaction is like crying so hard I can't talk.
Yeah. That's gold. That's television.
Oh, man.
Speaking of television, do you mind just setting up a little bit before we head to break what we've got in store for the rest of the show?
Sure.
That would be great.
Why don't you? Come on, you know. Why don't you do it? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we've got a lot going on. We're keeping an eye on the St. Paul City Council meeting. You just heard that the Minneapolis committee, the Public Health, Safety, and Equity Committee, just wrapped up. They did pass an ordinance having to do with felons being able to own particular breeds of dogs, and they passed that ordinance in committee. We're also keeping an eye on St. Paul City Council to see if anything starts heating up there. And then coming up in just about 5 minutes, we've got a Minnesota-based comedian named Kelsey Cook. Her Netflix special just released last night, and I've got a one-on-one interview with her coming up after the break. That's going to be really fun. She's got some really cool facts about her. Her parents were professional foosball players. I mean, what? We can do a whole interview about that. And then we're going to interview a family that is all up in northern Minnesota right now fighting the Boundary Waters canoe area fires up there. So they've got 2 kids on the front lines, dad's in operation, mom's doing communications, all helping in the firefighting efforts. Pretty cool. We're going to talk to them. And then we're going to check in with Ahmad Hicks, our very own Ahmad Hicks from our sports department, who is out at Vikings training camp in Eagan, where the Vikings are playing they're practicing against the Ravens. So they're playing the Baltimore Ravens this Saturday in their second preseason game, but they're practicing with them all week in Eagan. He's going to tell us the sights and sounds of practice camp this week. Then we're going to talk to A Mother's Love. They're a wonderful organization out of North Minneapolis. They've got an event coming up on Saturday where they're going to walk against violence and also have kind of a community fair where people can find resources and reach out for help to try and keep these young people away from guns and violence in Minneapolis. So she's going to come in and talk about the event they've got coming up on Saturday. And then we're going to talk Mile of Music going on today in Minneapolis. Sounds like fun. I don't know much about it. Can't wait to learn. Right now, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, like I said, that comedian, that Minnesota comedian will be joining us, talking all about her new Netflix special that released last night. You're not going to want to miss this. Stay right there. welcome back. Well, the Vikings are coming off their first preseason game against the Giants this past weekend. Now they're looking ahead to Saturday, where they'll be taking on the Baltimore Ravens. But they're getting a taste of what the game will be like on Saturday, as they are holding joint practices all week with the Ravens. Kevin O'Connell, head coach, addressed the media earlier. Here he is.
Obviously very excited for today, for tomorrow. Having an organization like Baltimore, top to bottom, first class. I mean, it's been a blast putting these practices together with Jesse, getting the staffs together last night, and then obviously looking forward to some competitive work and very, very impactful for both of our teams as we kind of try to both build up to what we want to become for the regular season. I got really 2 good days planned, kind of a lot of different situations, a lot of different, test points, checkpoints for both of us as coaches to see where our team's at and where we need to continue to grow before September 13th. Just wanted to give you guys an update on a couple things. Had not talked to you in a few days. Caleb Tiernan, he did get that was an ankle injury in the game. I'd consider him week to week. He will not. We're hoping to get him back, hopefully sometime, whether we can get him back for next week's preseason game or he starts his practice program the following week, hoping that there's no issues with a timeline with the regular season on the 13th. Max Brosmer, he'll throw today a little bit. A lot of these reps are really first team based with some twos mixed in. So we'll kind of keep progressing him. You'll see him throw routes, individual, some of the one-on-ones, and then, we'll hopefully try to get him turned over and ready to go for the game on Saturday. So those were 2 updates I wanted to make sure you guys got.
We saw some video elsewhere yesterday. How much do you feel the need to talk to your guys about you want intensity, but there's got to be a way to keep it from boiling?
Yeah, every year this is. I was trying to think back to actually. I think this might be maybe our 6th time with the joint practices, and we've never had. There's always going to be. Look, there's 2 separate teams, 2 competitive teams that are going to be out there. There's a difference between even some of the things where the intensity ramps up, and maybe, guys can get face to face, or guys can, there can be a little bit of that here and there. If there's none, there's probably an issue going on, but it's coming from us as coaches, from the league. This is a huge part of where our league's going moving forward to prepare players for the season, and we need to be able to have these days and practice the right way. I started 2 or 3 years ago sharing my PowerPoint slides that I go through our rules and what the expectations are. I share those with the opposing coach, and I think Jesse shared those with his team as is. So everybody's hearing the same thing. Everybody knows the expectation. And the bottom line is, if you want to, you want to play in this league a long time, you need to really learn how to make the most out of the work that you get in preparation for the season. And so don't anticipate we'll have any injury or any issues with that, but at the same time, we'll be ready to handle it accordingly. That you need to be able to do, to maintain the standards and discipline that we need to have as a football team.
More or different coach-wise out of the joint practices than you would say at a regular preseason game?
Yeah, preseason games, I know that it's teams are in their uniforms and they're out there playing and it's tackling and all those things, but from a standpoint of the level of football schematically that goes into a preseason game, you might get 1 or 2 standardized coverages, and versus each phase of the game having a whole different world that you get into, coverage-wise, pressure-wise, what we do defensively based upon what we're showing in the preseason versus what we can do when we're really thinking about game planning and preparing for an opponent for 4 quarters of a. So I would just always say that you're going to get more X's and O's here than you would in a preseason game, and there's still a lot to evaluate in preseason games, but normally it is guys' ability, technique, fundamentals, throwing, catching, covering, tackling, not so much how they have to handle the football 501 that can go into a regular season NFL game. So we can get into that world out here a little bit. There's not a ton of game planning that goes on for these, so there's still a level of you're doing different things that you want to see, that you want to try, but you're still not at a place where you have 4 or 5 weeks of game inventory on the Ravens to really hone in on what you want to do. But there still are some great ways for us to push those boundaries and limits and have a little bit better feel about where we're at. Yeah, regardless, each play, good result, bad result, moving on to the next, and it's still practice, so you still want him having a mindset of aggressively learning and applying all the things that he's put work into since getting here. And this just gives, it's not even just for him, it's for Justin and Jordan running routes on guys that are good players at the corner spot. It's for TJ, that matchup that he may have within their defense that you just don't get with your own roster, especially when your own roster plays against each other every single day. It's almost impossible for some of our defensive guys who have gone up against a lot of layers of our offensive scheme for 5 years now. They're not exactly surprised by things when we do them. There is a level of an evaluation that I think a lot of the guys that maybe we don't play as much in the preseason, they need these reps so that the first time they're not doing it is September 13th. Yeah, you're gonna earn a job and you're gonna earn a place on our team by demonstrating your ability to play at a high level in between the whistles. All the other stuff, the analogy I always use is I would prefer Rottweilers over Chihuahuas. If you've ever walked by a Rottweiler sitting on the front porch, doesn't have to say a whole lot. But if it needs to, it can do a whole lot. And then the vice versa, the Chihuahua that's barking at you from their side of the fence, the entire walk by, how intimidating is that to some of the guys out here? And there's all pro players on their team. There's guys that have played at a very high level for a really long time. Those aren't the ones that you normally see. It's normally really what we've seen within some of our own practices where it's gotten to the line or even past it. It's with players 55 through 90 on the roster that can be a thin line between what is play style and toughness and then the stuff that comes on top of that. There's just no place for it, and the guys that can demonstrate the ability to go out there, especially the young players, understand that and get the work required that is very, very important over these 2 days will be the ones that you feel very strongly about moving forward with.
Last week, when we talked about JJ, he was going to be the backup. You said yes. Did you, just to be super clear on it, did you mean number 2? And you imagine that it's up for grab and change over the course of the weeks?
Yeah, what I would say is this. I did mean that in regards to the question of is he, and he has taken all the 2 reps in practice, and he's done really well. You think about from the time we made that announcement till now, he's really, there's been some plays where I've been proud as heck of some of how he's, gotten through a read and gotten to a backside in cut for a first down with the pocket collapsing on a 3rd down, or, on a play pass comes to mind the other day, getting backside quick and throwing the ball in a tight window in between the numbers. There's been some really good stuff, but I want those guys feeling like they're competing. The whole art or the philosophy around making our quarterback room, competitive and allow that to rise the standard of not only our team but our offense. I know you guys would roll your eyes every time I mentioned Carson and Max's name throughout the offseason as part of it, but they're part of it, and that's what we want throughout that quarterback room. And want Carson feeling like he can do the things consistently that he can do, that we know exactly who and what he is, and we want JJ feeling like I'm one snap away, so I got to prepare like I'm the starter anyway. It's easy to say those things, but we wanted to have a room that forced it. So we'll see how these next couple weeks play out, and we're going to do what's best for our team. And proud of the way JJ's handled the last few days. Thought Carson did some good things in the game. Wish we could have got Max more time, and hopefully that can come here as we get through these next 2 preseason games.
Two more. It seems like one thing throughout camp is doing some dicey pistol snaps, shotgun snaps.
Yep.
What's your assessment there? And it looked like the last practice that Blake was trying to actually snap a little bit lower instead of higher? Where are we at?
I don't know if he was trying to. Yeah, you and me noticed that. You should stand by me at practice, and then I wouldn't have to say as much. Well, maybe I'll stand where you are, and we'll both have binoculars. You're welcome for the perch, by the way. But that's what, one of the byproducts we've kind of learned is, Blake is doing a phenomenal job with some of the quote unquote running off the ball, where you guys could hopefully feel it a little bit even early in that preseason game, the intent on how we want to play. And even though calls might sound the same, they're different because of how our guys are fundamentally attacking some of those combinations, running off the ball, reaching to go earn the grass and space that we want. So in the gun, sometimes it takes reps and time on task to really identify, okay, I've got to reach this nose right here to my left, and it's going to be a violent movement. Well, hey, that triggered a low and right snap, or it might be a pass pro snap, and you're anticipating a game on the right side, and you want to try to get to a certain spot, and that's a hard right movement as he's snapping it. That triggered a low and left. Then we got to practice it, and that's where we have time, but not that much time, as I like to say. And so we got to acknowledge it, and then you'll see, hopefully, center quarterback exchange for the next 2 weeks. We're only working those things to make sure we can continue to identify, as new things come about in our offense, or new techniques in the run or pass phase that stress Blake. We can practice those enough so he gets that 1,000 rep rule, and we can lock those in, because those are critical. I mean, you can think back to last year even. The Philadelphia Eagle game hits my mind, where we sent one over Carson's head on a second down, where we probably had a 15-yard gain on the play, throwing it out to a bubble if we get that thing snapped. But instead, you're third and I can't remember if we were second and long or third and long, but you're basically then just playing for a field goal at that point. Those are critical plays, and they come up throughout the season, but the time is now to identify how that happens. And ultimately give those guys enough reps to fix it. So hopefully we don't, we emphasized it, yesterday all day, and hopefully we get great snaps today, and that will mean nothing other than a good foundation to have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 snaps being where we want, and hopefully we have that feeling by the time we get to September 13th. Yeah, I mean, you're empowering him based upon the above the neck. He's done an unbelievable job identifying, targeting things. I mean, Flo's defense, there could be 6 DBs out there in the form of base defense, and you got to figure out how to identify it, communicate it. He's been great there. I'm sure we'll get some looks today where, whether it's Kyle or some of these other DBs, they're playing linebacker bodies, and we've got to identify that. All of that is great, but we still need to have the center quarterback exchange. Blake's had a really good camp. For sure, the quarterback center exchange is something that we're going to continue to harp on and make sure we get corrected. As there's many things like that throughout training camp where when there's an issue, we got to fix it. It cannot continue to be an issue.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
All right, you were just listening to Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell there at the TCO Performance Center in Eagan, where joint practices are currently taking place with the Baltimore Ravens. They'll also face off against the Baltimore Ravens this Saturday at noon at US Bank Stadium, the first preseason home game. That game kicks off at noon. Our coverage starts at 11, and you can watch it right here on Fox 9. You can also watch it streaming on the app or on our website. Just head to fox9.com, and there's instructions on there on how you can watch the game without having to be connected to a TV. All right, after the break, we are going to talk to a family that has made wildland firefighting a family affair. They've been helping out up north, fighting the wildfires that are burning just north of Ely in the Arrowhead region. We're going to talk to them right after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. For one Wisconsin family, fighting wildfires has truly become a family affair. They've got their two sons, husband, wife, were all up in northern Minnesota fighting that July lightning incident that impacted the region north of Ely, the Arrowhead region. Jeremy and Shanti Bennett join me now to talk all about this family affair. Guys, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Okay, so you got to tell me, how did this all come about? You've got two sons who are on the front lines fighting the fire. Shanti, you're doing the communication work. Jeremy, you're doing operational stuff. How did you all become so involved in wildland firefighting?
I can start. I guess I got started right out of high school. This is my 33rd season fighting fire. So I've been doing it for a long time, and the boys, they both got into fighting fire after high school, and Shanti just decided to kind of join along. She took some of the trainings a few years ago and finally started getting out.
Is this your first wildfire that you've all been involved in together?
Yes. It's the first one I've ever been at, and it was really cool having all of us together. We got a family picture.
What was that like, having your sons, your husband, all there with you? Obviously, it's a difficult time. You guys are doing hard work, but what was that like doing that hard work together?
I was really proud to be a part of it. It's amazing being a part of the fire community, and just knowing that my sons were working hard and my husband was working hard and I got to be a part of it. I felt really blessed.
Do you ever worry about your sons? I mean, I know as a mother, I might get a little nervous knowing that they're out there fighting wildfires.
Yeah, I do. They're pretty safe, but yes, you have to always watch for falling trees and stuff like that. So I try not to catastrophize and just, know they're doing something they love. So,
Jeremy, you've been firefighting for 30 years, you said. Do your boys ever come to you for advice?
I don't know. I guess I try to prod them along, but I think they're pretty independent. If they ever come to me and ask me, I'll definitely help them. But yeah, I mean, it's cool to see them follow in my footsteps. It's been a really good career for me, and so it's really cool to see them starting to get involved.
Yeah, I imagine you're pretty proud. Jeremy, what was it like for you to be up in northern Minnesota and be calling some of the shots and knowing that your sons were actually in the fire, on the front lines?
Yeah, so I purposely didn't get into a position where I was actually supervising them, but they were part of a suppression module, and I kind of knew what division they were on, and I was kind of watching what they were doing. They had a really good assignment. It's really fun to be up in the Boundary Waters. It's a very unique place to fight fire, and in my opinion, it's the most amazing place to fight fire, because I have a lot of experiences up there. But they had a great experience. They had a good assignment. They had good supervision, and I was confident that they were being taken care of. So.
Yeah, you mentioned it, but wildfires are not, they're not unusual up there in the Boundary Waters. What was your experience this summer compared to being up there fighting in previous summers?
So I've been up there for the last 20 years. I've gone up for pretty much most of the largest fires they've had up there. And every time I'm in a different position. So like this time I was in it's called a branch division. And I wasn't as engaged as, back in camping and stuff like that. So, but it's definitely a unique year. There's a lot of blowdown in the Boundary Waters. There's the droughty conditions, and I've never seen that much fire, but it's 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 a very unique situation, but it's also kind of part of the ecosystem up there that fires will burn in that boreal forest. It's challenging, but it's also like it's a really amazing place to be.
Yeah, we've talked about that a lot, that this is just part of nature's way up there in the Boundary Waters. So there are a lot of regions where they'll just let it burn. We read a lot and we talked to a lot of people about just like the lifestyle of a wildland firefighter. Lodging was limited up in the Ely area, so we saw tents set up. Can you just talk to us about what life is like when you're up there for weeks at a time, away from home?
I mean, so like you spend a lot of time in a tent. Get used to, so sometimes you're back in the Boundary Waters, we call spiking out. It's actually, you get fed pretty well, like the back of the outfitters provide food and stuff like that. But you got to be comfortable kind of staying outside, and you got to really enjoy being in the outdoors.
And
it's kind of a camping trip, but
yeah, some kind of a camping trip. How do you think Shanti did? Her first fire, having your wife there I don't know if I'd want my husband with me at work. I gotta be honest. I don't know how that would go. So how was it? How was it having your wife there alongside for the ride? You've done this for 30 years and all of a sudden she's there alongside you.
yeah, I think she did really well. Like she blended into the team. She made a lot of good contacts, and she's already going back out. Possibly the next couple of days,
Wow.
She's going to be out as a prevention team member.
Wow. So just like the rest of the family, you're hooked, Shanti.
I'm going out to Montana, so it's going to be an exciting venture.
Yeah. Okay, it's been so fun hearing from you guys, Shanti and Jeremy Bennett. I understand that we have at least one of your sons on the line. We can't have you all on at the same time.
We're going to try and do this. We've never done this before where we've jumped from one lot of guests to another all within the one segment. So you're going to have to give us some grace here, but we're going to try and do it. So Shanti and Jeremy, if we don't see you again, thank you for joining us. There is a chance I'll stuff this up and disconnect everyone, but we'll see how we go, okay? So Courtney, you take the reins here for a second and I'll try and get one of the boys up. Who do you recommend? I've got Raven or Finn?
Well, they're both really great.
You can't ask a mother to pick between her two sons.
Who's going to cope most with the producer that doesn't know what he's doing?
Tried them both.
Okay, all right. I'll just go in. I'll just click whoever I can.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Russian roulette here with Paul. Okay, that was Shanti and Jeremy Bennett. They are a firefighting family. So Jeremy's been doing wildland firefighting for 30 years. His wife now decided to join the club. She was handling communications up there in the Boundary Waters canoe area wildland firefight. Their two sons were on the front lines as firefighters, taking over, following in their dad's footsteps. And they were right there up there in the fire in the Boundary Waters, as you heard them say. We're going to hopefully, which one is this, Paul? It looks like we do have one of their sons on. We've got Finn on. Finn, welcome on the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hey, so we just got to talk to your mom and dad. I'm curious to hear from you. So your dad has been doing this for a career your entire life. So you watched this growing up. You watched him leaving, going off to fight wildfires. Where was the moment for you where you said, I want to do what my dad does?
I think it basically right out of high school, it was an easy route to get into, and then from there I went out on my first assignment and then I loved it, so I just stuck with it and I really want to continue with it for the rest of my life.
So this was the first time that you had mom, dad, and brother all at the same wildfire. It's okay, your mom and dad aren't listening, so you can tell the truth. Or maybe my producer said they might be, so be nice. But how was that for you? How was it having the whole family there?
It was cool. I didn't actually see them a whole lot besides a few days at briefing. But we were working, we were busy in the woods, but it was really cool to see my mom out there, and my dad was, he's doing like big boss stuff, so I didn't see him a whole lot. But like my mom, it seemed like she was really excited to be there for her first time, and I think it's really cool.
That's awesome. And it sounds like your mom's hooked because she's already signing up for another wildfire somewhere else.
Oh.
So it sounds like we also have your brother. This is a first time for us here on this show, jumping around to different Zoom interviews. We've got Raven also on the line. So that was Finn. These are brothers. Their mom and dad were also up in the Boundary Waters fighting this wildfire. Let's see if we can get Raven on the line. We're switching over. Okay. Raven, I'm going to guess, is the big brother. Am I wrong?
You are correct.
You're the big brother. It was the mustache. It was a dead giveaway. What was it like for you, Raven, having your little brother, mom, and dad on the scene of the same wildfire with you?
It was really cool. We got to hang out and do things as a family, which was pretty cool.
What about being on the front lines with your brother? I mean, I can't imagine what you're seeing out there, with all the blowdown. You're out there in the Boundary Waters, wildfires raging, and you've got your little brother by your side. What's that like?
It's really cool. Get to experience really cool adventures, and I'm a really adventurous dude, so like we got to go out camp and canoe and do all that fun stuff, so it's pretty cool.
And can you just take us there? I mean, what was it that you guys were up against on a daily basis while you were fighting this fire?
We put in containment lines up to Canada. We cleared portages. We made helisports. We put out heat with using aircraft, and we were canoeing around the Boundary Waters.
Wow, so
Lots
you
of
were
very
actually in canoes, trying to contain this fire.
Correct.
Wow, very cool. How does this? It sounds like we're going to get the rest of the family up, so I'll stop with my questioning. I know we've got other interviews here today. You say I can keep talking to them? Okay. I'm curious how this wildfire compares to other wildfires that you've fought. Every landscape is different. Geography is so different no matter where you go in the U.S. How does this landscape compare to others that you've been to?
It's really tough. Really like rocky terrain and duffy, so like the embers can get really deep into the duff. The part where we were at was really, really steep, actually, kind of like the Pacific Northwest. But mosquitoes are bad, humidity, it's completely different than the dryness from out west. So
wow, yeah, and it's so remote up there. I imagine that's something unique. Okay, look, we got the whole family on the screen now. Mom and Dad, pretty proud of your boys.
Yes, they're really great people, and I'm grateful for them.
That's amazing. You guys are doing amazing work. It's so cool to see you all together, out there fighting these wildland fires. And it sounds like Mom's hooked. So it might not be the last time that the Bennett family is together fighting fires. Thanks, guys, for coming on the show. Really appreciate you.
Well, thank you.
All right. That was the Bennett family who all together were fighting the Boundary Waters Canoe Area Wilderness. They're now home in Wisconsin. But the two sons, the mom and dad, all out there on the front lines.
Well, they did such a wonderful job. I didn't want to leave them out. We've never done that before. We've never tried to bring in multiple guests and have them multiple at the same time. You know what? We try new things. That's all we can do.
We love to try new things.
Yeah.
No, that was great. Really cool to be able to talk to Mom, then talk to the sons. It's so great. It's like we see it a lot in the job that we do, like where dad's a police officer, their dad was a police officer, then their son's a police officer. I'm just hoping that my kids don't want to be a television news person.
They could do a lot worse than want to be like you, Courtney, I can tell you that.
Well, that's really sweet, Paul, but it's odd hours, it's holidays, it's not for everybody. And then, you're in the public eye, and so I'm just hoping maybe like attorney, something like stable, good paying.
I was going to say, if you weren't a TV presenter, would you be a stand-up comedian? I reckon you've got the chops. I think you have the chops.
Maybe. I think our next guest is way better at it.
You got there. You worked out what I was trying to do there. A little slick segue into...
And wait until you find out what her mom and dad did for a living. It's not far off from what she's doing now. So we're going to talk with Kelsey Cook right after the break. Stay right there. Welcome back. Minnesota-based comedian Kelsey Cook is having a big week. Her Netflix special premiered last night, and it was shot right here in the Twin Cities. Here to talk about that special and all kinds of other stuff, I'm sure. Kelsey Cook joins us live. Hi, Kelsey.
Hi, how are you?
Okay, I'm great. I have yet to watch the special, so I hope to get to that tonight. It was shot.
Good.
It was shot in St. Paul.
Yes, we did it at the Fitzgerald Theater, which is actually where my fiance, Chad Daniels, who's also a comedian, shot his Netflix special. And weirdly, so my dad is a symphony trumpet player, and he performed the Prairie Home Companion there in the 80s. So it's like a bizarre amount of history within my family of people performing there.
Yeah, a lot of family connections. Speaking of family, I read that one of your parents is a professional foosball player, that you actually are a world champion foosball player as well?
Yeah, it's very strange. So both of my parents actually, they met playing in a professional foosball tournament in the 80s. So I literally would not exist if it weren't for foosball. It's like my weird white trash origin story. I actually have these are some of my foosball trophies behind me. And then my mom's, she has like a massive collection. She's actually in the Foosball Hall of Fame, which is wild. But these are some of her ones up here, which make me laugh because they're like attached to beer cans. It's a very like Guy Fieri vibe. There are flames everywhere. It's the foosball the community is a funny place.
Perfect. Okay, so your first Netflix special, Happy Hour, is out now. Give us a little preview of what you tackle in your Happy Hour special.
Oh man, it's a wide range of topics. I chopped 13 inches of my hair off, and so that was kind of like what I opened talking about because that was such a big change, and kind of talked about how like I thought that was initially a good idea, and then I realized pretty quickly that when your hair is that short, you have to wear a full face of makeup, or else you look like a small French boy. And you know, seeing that first thing every morning is like a little bit of a tough way to start the day. So, you know, just like wanted to talk about the short hair straight away. And then, you know, I moved to Minnesota 3 years ago to live with Chad, and I've become like a huge Vikings fan and have learned that like sports superstitions here are a very real thing. People are very intense about them, including my fiance. And so have some jokes about unintentionally jinxing games and bets without realizing I had. And then I also, I talk about so I've been talking about my mom, you know, and her incredible foosball history, but unfortunately, she was diagnosed with frontotemporal dementia a little over 5 years ago. And so I talk about the kind of stuff going on with my mom and have really wanted to talk about dementia on stage in a way that, you know, shines light on what is otherwise an incredibly crushing topic. But I think that it's important to try to find ways to bring some light to hard moments, or else it is just so heavy. And so it helps me get through it. And it's been nice to have so many people come up after shows and say, like, I also have a parent with dementia or a family member. And, you know, thank you so much for talking about this and helping me feel less alone. So that's been important to me too.
You got to laugh or you'll cry, right? So
exactly. Yes.
It's probably better for you to laugh.
Yes.
So you actually bankrolled this special. So you bet on yourself, like you paid for the production of it before you had a Netflix deal.
Yes. So my previous two specials, the first one was financed by a production company. The second one, I went in on it together with them. And then this one, I had been like saving up my tour income, and I felt pretty strongly about this one, where I knew I wanted to shoot it in a theater and kind of give it that elevated look and feel, which I think helps it be a little bit more appealing to Netflix to buy. And I just thought, like, you know, even if they don't buy it, I'll host it on my YouTube channel. It will look great. And I've never bet on myself that big before, for sure. And I feel so grateful that it paid off and that they bought it, and now it's on Netflix.
You're originally from Washington State. I'm curious, you said you came here. Is your fiance from here?
Yes. So Chad is originally from Fergus Falls.
Okay. So you moved to Minnesota because every Minnesotan always comes home. And if you marry a Minnesotan, you are doomed. I speak as one of them, okay? I'd be happy on the coast of California right now if it weren't for that cute Minnesotan that I met in a bar in Arizona. That's more than you wanted to know, Kelsey.
No, I love hearing this. It's nice to know. It's like it's like an exchange program or something. It's like part of the tourism here is that there are these like great men, and you're like, well, I guess I'm moving my life here. And I moved here in January, which is like, that's when you know you love a man. Where you're
Absolutely.
Like, I'm coming in the dead of winter to be with you. So here we are.
Paul Milgate, my executive producer.
I don't jump in too often. I try not to jump in too often. But Minnesotans, what is it with them dragging us from all corners of the globe to this state?
Yeah, poor Paul got dragged here from Australia.
We had a lovely life in Bondi, Australia, and like you said, we moved here and it was like 3.5 feet of snow. It was like, what is going on? And we do it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, you are the most extreme case. Like, there's such a strong Minnesota accent throughout this state. It's very shocking, where I'm like, oh, wow, we've got an Australian one too. You don't hear it very often here.
Yeah, well, and we do always tend to run into each other, these Australians. There's a couple of Dale K here at Fox 9. There are a couple of us around, I can promise you.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, I just had to jump in. I completely agree. They just Minnesotans always come home.
They do.
I know,
so
it's
I'm
wild.
curious, Kelsey, what your favorite part of Minnesota is. Is it the hot dish?
You know, I haven't been around too many hot dishes.
Oh,
honestly.
come on.
But I know, I will say, I have come to really love lake life. I'm not a big like outdoorsy camping vibe type of lady. And so I at first was like, oh, there's a lot of mosquitoes and I'm not like good on an inner tube or a jet ski or anything like that. But once I think the winters really break you and you're like, oh, now I really love lake life. It just makes you appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah, like I'll tell you, everybody here is searching for homes in Florida come February. That is
oh my God, yes.
That's a sure thing. So your first special, The Hustler, was a huge hit online.
Oh, thank you.
What do you think it was that made audiences relate to you?
You know, I guess I don't know for sure, but one of my favorite like subjects in comedy or like sources of material is to talk about embarrassing things that have happened to me and just like find the humor in them. And it is kind of like a form of therapy, I think, for me. But because I have this unusual job where I'm the one sharing these things, I do think it makes people feel good when they can hear somebody else talking about maybe like a taboo experience or an embarrassing thing that happened to them that they would never tell anybody about, but they hear somebody joking about it on stage and suddenly it's like, oh, okay, somebody else has been through this and now they're making it a lighter thing. And I think that helps. So.
And I read that you first started with comedy in college. So you did some stand-up at an open mic night. What prompted you to get up on stage? And then at what point were you like, well, this would be a cool career? I mean, I guess, you know, foosball. It was either foosball or comedy, I guess, right?
I know. I really, like the family lineage I come from, it's not like I was going to be a dental hygienist or something. I think that would have been too normal for my family. I had to like keep the clown tradition rolling. But I initially, when I started college, I thought I wanted to be a high school math teacher. And so I got halfway through college pursuing a math major. And I got to the point where I was like in calculus 3, hating my life. It was just not what I thought it was going to be. And so halfway through college, I switched to a broadcast production major. And one of the classes you have to take is public speaking. And I kept turning my assignments into comedy sketches. Basically, I like kept making them comedy related somehow. And my professor pulled me aside one day and was like, you know, like you're putting so much more effort into these assignments than anybody else is because you clearly like enjoy doing this and you're so funny. Like you should do the open mic here. And stand-up's kind of one of those things where if it goes even marginally well the first time, it's very addicting. And so then I just didn't stop. And now it's been 17 years.
Wow, 17 years. And now your fiance and you even do a podcast together. So two comedians do a podcast. What are the topics you guys tackle?
Yeah, so we have a podcast called Pretend Problems. And it's usually like, you know, sometimes it's a recap of stuff that happened in the week. I have my puppy laying on my lap right now. And so last week we talked about how he's like a little evil genius. He managed to lock me out of the house because I ran an errand and he was trying to like get out so badly that he reached up with his paw and swiped the lock. And I didn't have my spare key with me. So I had to call a locksmith and pay $125 to get back into my own home, which, you know, I feel like is the rudest thing you can do to the woman who rescued you from a shelter. It's just like, what's going on here? But he's an adorable little man. So we like share whatever crazy thing happened that week. We'll talk about like how we worked through an argument we had that week. We'll read emails from listeners and give advice to the stuff they write in on. It's a good vibe. I would like to think it's like a nice thing to just hang out and listen to.
What is it like when you have two comedians in a relationship? Because I'm like thinking that you're just constantly trying to one-up each other with jokes and or like just like always making light of every situation, which isn't always welcome.
No, yeah, we're not like that. We're I think just as individuals and as a couple, we're not the type of people that are always on. Like we're very just normal off stage. So we're like we do really love making each other laugh every day, but we're not like running bits all the time or being on. It's very normal. But we'll like do tour dates together sometimes, which is so fun. Like we're gonna do a Europe tour together this fall. And when we do those shows, like I will go on stage and tell my jokes about him, and then he'll go on stage and tell his jokes about me, and then we'll both go on stage together and get to give our side to the other person's joke. And it's such a good time because usually if you go see a comedy show, you just hear the one person's perspective on their partner, right? Without the partner getting to be like, well, actually this is like what was going on that day and you were doing that or whatever. So we have a good time with that.
It's like a funny take on relationship therapy. I love it.
Yeah.
Kelsey Cook, really appreciate you coming on the show. Your special happy hour premiered last night. You can stream it now on Netflix. Come back on the show anytime, Kelsey. Really enjoyed chatting with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to go to a quick break. Or no, we're not going to go to a quick break because Erica is sitting right next to me and she's ready to go.
No break.
Can we do that, you guys? Can we? Perfect. There she is. The beautiful Erica Marasic joins us now. I don't mind. They have to remind me to take breaks because I'm like, let's just keep going. Just keep going.
Yeah.
Keep it moving. Nobody needs to take a bathroom break anyway, really.
No, and who needs water?
Nobody.
Yeah.
Anyway, today was supposed to be like the peak perfect day out of your forecast this week. Is it still looking like that?
Yeah, it's pretty nice. Do you agree?
I have not been outside of this hole, Erica.
No windows in here, so you don't know.
Thank you for pointing out that I don't get to go outside. I'm actually chained to the chair right now.
Yeah, you're stuck. Well, I'll let you know. It's really nice outside. So
Beautiful.
Hopefully after work you can. Oh, don't you have to take your kids out on the boat for their rain check?
I don't think it's going to happen tonight, Erica.
Are you busy?
Well, I'm busy because I've got a whole garden full of tomatoes that need to be eaten. And so I'm going to make a fresh sauce. And that's not really a good boat picnic meal.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, like fresh pasta.
Yeah,
not
that seems
great.
kind of hard to eat while you're on a boat.
Yeah.
I feel like a boat's more like sandwiches or
Sandwiches.
like snacks.
Yes. So I do owe the kids a boat picnic. I think that prioritizing the tomatoes getting eaten has to happen tonight.
Right, because then they'll go bad if you wait too long.
Totally.
So that's a problem I deal with quite often, is my food going bad, because I live by myself, so.
So you got to start freezing and canning.
Yeah. But
she's like, yeah, one day. Okay, let's get to the weather.
No, but another good day to take your kids out for a boat picnic is Saturday and Sunday. This weekend's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be sunny, low dew points, high temperatures, 80s. So boat days on the weekend looking amazing. Before the weekend, though, there is a chance for a couple showers, couple rumbles of thunder. That'll be Thursday, so tomorrow. So up north in the central part of the state, that could be perhaps morning, middle of the day, and then for the metro, that's more afternoon, evening. And then level 1 out of 5 risk for potentially some hail, some gusty wind. So that's a low severe threat, but the threat's still there. So just stay sky aware for Thursday. And then after that starts to turn really nice. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday looking pretty good. Very low chance for a shower on Friday, but most people are going to completely miss that. So a nice stretch there, and then temperatures look like they could start to warm up as we head into the start of the state fair. So
oh man,
it's coming up soon.
It is always hot at the state fair. I don't know what it is about the state fair, because
Mother
August
Nature just knows.
The average temperature in August is in the 80s, right? Or
it's about 80, 81.
So low.
Well,
80s.
Right now it's 81. It's around there for the rest of the month.
Yeah, but it seems like we're just sweating, and maybe it's just the fair be like. We were at the Carver County Fair this weekend, and I swear I started to get heat stroke. It was so hot.
Yeah, no, the heat's
then
really
when
handled.
but then when we got off the fairgrounds, I felt way better. So I think it's something about all the rides there and like the flat dirt. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not a scientific theory.
Well, plus there's a lot of people, so then the body heat,
Yeah.
and then it's not as windy all the time. You probably get, better wind outside of the fair.
Yeah.
But
And this will be your first Minnesota State Fair.
it will be. I'm very excited.
Oh, man.
I keep saying for the past month, I've been saying I need to see a cow and a pig.
Oh.
I just need to.
You'll see many. You'll see them giving birth, Erica.
Okay, that's even better.
Yeah, you'll see them
it's
giving
pretty better
birth.
than I imagined.
You'll see them getting groomed. You'll see them using the restroom. You'll see them eating. You'll see everything you've ever not wanted to see about a pig and a cow.
Okay.
And
That's gonna
chickens
be
and
great.
goats and all of it. Yeah, no, it's fun. And then just make sure you bring plenty of cash to enjoy the food, because the food
I've heard
is the best
food
part.
Is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grab
So I'm
yourself
excited for that.
grab yourself a pickle beer too.
Oh, absolutely.
So, okay. Erica Mrazek, appreciate you. We'll check back in with you in a little bit.
Yeah, sweet.
We're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to check in with our very own Ahmad Hicks, who is live in Eagan covering Vikings training camp. Stay right there. All right, the Vikings are back from their first preseason game against the Giants last weekend. Now they're looking ahead to Saturday, where they take on the Baltimore Ravens here at home at US Bank Stadium. And they get to get a little practice in before that game. They're doing a joint practice with the Baltimore Ravens today at TCO Performance Center, and Ahmad Hicks was there. Hey, Ahmad, how's it going?
It's going good. How about yourself today, Court?
Just a beautiful day. I wish I was outside like you. Looks like a wonderful day to be at training camp.
It was beautiful today. The breeze was flowing, the sun was out, the birds were chirping, everybody was having a great day. Only one injury today, so it was a solid outing.
All right, so they're practicing with the Ravens this week. What are your takeaways?
Both defenses look good today. And I say this to people all the time because a lot of fans were out there. I heard it in the stands. I saw it on social media already. A lot of people were like, oh my God, our offense looks so bad. We were getting our butts whipped today. And it's like, guys, you're not going to open up the playbook to beat these guys in practice. Right now, it's just about executing, doing the little things, the basic things. And I think the defense looked well. Lamar Jackson looked visibly frustrated at times. He was almost picked off 2 or 3 times. He was sacked quite a few times. So, needless to say, he ended the day frustrated. The first team period for offense didn't go so well. I don't even think they got 50 yards of offense. But after a quick special teams break, they regrouped for one final team session at the end of practice, and both Kyler Murray and J.J. McCarthy led the team down to touchdowns. So it ended on a pretty positive note for the Vikings, that is, should I say, since they both wear purple.
Yeah, very confusing. Why is this such a, like, why do they do this? Why do they do joint practices? I mean, like you said, they don't want to give away the whole playbook, but I'm thinking, my goodness, you hold joint practices, they're going to get some of your secret sauce.
You do it so you can get some of your work, because if you put your starters out in a preseason game, you can't tell the other team not to go touch your quarterback. You can't tell them, hey, don't take my star wide receiver to the ground. In joint practices, you can do all of that. You can say, hey, we're going to go hard, but the moment you get next to that quarterback, you better pull up. Or, hey, I want you to complete the play, try and get the ball out when they're throwing it to Justin Jefferson, but you better not take him down to the ground. And so that's why coaches love these joint practices, because you get good on good work. So your number one offense gets to go up against the number one defense and vice versa. And you really get to see where you are right ahead of the NFL season, without risking injuries in preseason games.
We heard from Kevin O'Connell today, and he talked about giving those third and fourth string guys reps. He talked about Max Brosner. He talked about why that's important for those guys to still be getting reps.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, fortunately for them, it's like the Vikings have so many practice fields where you got your 1s and 2s on one side, and then you got your 3s and 4s on the other side. So those guys are getting a ton of reps. And this is what you want for these joint practices. But all eyes are on that one field with the 1s and 2s. Like, that's where everyone's paying attention to and things like that. So, it was an interesting day. But, not a lot of reps for Carson Wentz or Max Brosmer today. A lot of those reps went to J.J. McCarthy and Kyler Murray, rightfully so.
Well, like you said, this week is a really great opportunity if you're a fan to get out there, because you're going to see a lot of those starters out on the field. So if you can make it, if you don't have a 9-to-5 like the rest of us, get down there. I saw on your social media that Randy Moss was in the building today.
Yeah, they had a couple of big names in the building today. Randy Moss was there. He didn't speak to too many people, just the little kids and the NFL players. Jay Glazer from Fox NFL was there. Tom Pelissero, new analyst for Netflix, he was out there today. I mean, you had a lot of big names out there today. Ozzie Newsome with the Ravens, and it goes on. So yeah, everybody comes out for joint practices. That's always a fun time.
Wow, super fun. All right, Ahmad Hicks, appreciate you. And then on Saturday, you'll be doing a pregame show before the game, and that starts at 11, right?
Pre-game show starts at 11, and we'll have a post-game show directly following the game, Don Mitchell and myself. So we'll have pre and post-game. Pre will be down at US Bank Stadium. Post-game will be back at Fox 9 Studios.
All right, sounds good. You can catch that here on Fox 9. You can also find out how to stream that game and those shows if you go to fox9.com. Ahmad Hicks, thanks for coming on the show.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to have Lisa Clemens with A Mother's Love in studio to talk about their community prevention violence, their community violence prevention walk that's happening this Saturday in Minneapolis. That conversation is after this quick break. Welcome back, everybody. Well, A Mother's Love is here in studio. Lisa Clemens has been doing incredible work in the Twin Cities the last, what, over a decade?
Since 2014.
2014. I've been privileged to interview her many times about the work that she's doing to prevent violence and make sure that kids stay out of the danger zone. This Saturday, you are hosting a community violence prevention walk. What is this?
So it's a walk and a resource fair, and it was created, I have to give credit to the youth. They tried to do it last year, but it is about the many forms of violence that they suffer through as much as we do throughout community. It's not just about violence with guns, it's about violence overall.
Yeah, and you used to work with the Minneapolis Police Department many years ago.
You do not have to say it that many times.
Well, you're not involved with them anymore. But you have that history of being in the police department and also being a resident of the North Side, being in it, seeing it, experiencing it firsthand. So you really bring so many different experiences to this work and have the connections to make it work. I don't want to ignore them because they're also in the studio, but Shalia Johnson and Jaden Lewis join us. You guys are part of A Mother's Love. Talk to me about how you got involved in this effort.
So, well, I got involved through A Mother's Love through my dad because, like, this family, like, it's family friend and family. So I got involved there, and I've been with A Mother's Love for about 4 years now, going on my 5th, which will be next year. And it's been a lot of ups and downs. I've been fired a couple of times, but I came back, and now I'm a youth supervisor.
Hey, at least we're honest, right? Shalia, how did you get involved in A Mother's Love?
For me, I would say I used to work with my auntie at our church, and then we would come to classes that they will host. And then I liked this, so I just ended up coming back. And since the first day, I was a supervisor because I was so great. I showed great leadership.
Oh my God.
And this is my 3rd year, and this is going to be my 4th year next year.
So I'm curious, you guys are young. Growing up on the north side of Minneapolis, it's a wonderful community there, but you do encounter violence probably almost on a daily basis just going to school every day. What have you experienced as far as what your peers are getting into?
What I've experienced, one of my friends was actually a victim of gun violence. I've actually lost a friend, and one of my friends survived. My best friend to this day, actually. And it'd be a lot, but it's easy to stay out of if you choose your right friends and the right group.
And for you, how did you stay out of it? I mean, what was the motivation for you?
Well, 1, the summer program, honestly, and then 2, my dad. He really keep me out of it, keep me leveled, and just keep me on top of it.
Wow, good for your dad. That's awesome. What about you? I'm just curious to hear your experiences, since I know you probably see it and you're around it.
Yeah. Me personally, I lost my grandmother to domestic and gun violence at the same time. And I also when I was at a flag football practice, I seen somebody die or get shot that went to my school, so it's pretty sad. But overall, I'm not really in it. I just, I go to school, come to work, and my friends and my family usually keep me leveled too as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. How do your friends react when they find out that you're doing outreach work?
Well, actually, I work with my other 2 best friends, actually.
So you got them involved?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you're bringing your friends into this, saying, hey guys, there's an alternative to getting wrapped up in all this bad stuff. Why don't you come out and do some good stuff?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, one of my other best friends started when I started in 8th grade, but I brought my other friend along the way.
So what do you, on a daily basis, what are you guys doing in your community as it's incredible to see empowered youth who are really saying, you know what, we want better for this community. We want better for our peers in this community. What are you doing on a daily basis?
I really say we do a lot of stuff. So sometimes we go out in the community, we do beautification, or sometimes we even go to last time we went to the state capitol. And we protested for I think it was about violence as well. So we mainly speak up on a lot of topics that sometimes the youth are never really a part of. So that's why the program is really helpful, because it brings out the youth voice to help engage with difficult topics that we do cover. So
yeah.
Yeah, other things in the community that we do, like we go to different places like the Salvation Army, Turning Point, and V3 Sports. We just help out there, like Turning Point. We go around, we help them clean up, and I know with Salvation Army we're giving out food to the less fortunate people around us, and yeah, that's pretty much what we do.
You know, the North Side often gets a bad rap, Lisa. I think if most people would go down there, they'd have to actually see it's a really incredible place with a lot of culture, a lot of wonderful people, and you've really committed your life to helping people see that.
Yes.
Why?
Well, I moved here in '78 when my dad passed away, and we've been here. We started on the North Side. I patrolled on the North Side. I supervised on the North Side, supervised officers. And the North Side has so much to give. And they've just showed up and showed out for young people for years, and that gets hidden by the violence.
What saddens me when I'm on the North Side, you know, unfortunately I'm there a lot for, you know, when bad things happen. You talk to neighbors and they say, well, I don't let my kids play in the yard because I'm afraid, you know, somebody's going to drive by and, you know, fire bullets or whatever. It's horrible because there are a lot of families on the North Side. I imagine your hope is that we find a day where that is not the truth. You know, people can play outside. They can be in their yards. They can be on the trampoline. You know, their kids can be out.
Well, it's not always the truth anyway. It's maybe specific areas of North Minneapolis, but we're working really hard as boots on the ground organizations, bringing out the youth who have suffered through a lot of that, lost a lot of friends. So we're working hard to change that image of North Minneapolis.
Yeah, it doesn't help. It doesn't help when you see it in the news that somebody gets shot and then everybody's scared. So this Saturday, everyone's going to meet at the Northside Cub Foods.
Yes.
And then you're going to do a little march, a little walk?
We're going to do a walk, and we're looking at that as a First Amendment speech against this violence. So we're going to do a walk, and then we're going to come back. There'll already be a resource fair set up in a lot, things for kids to do, food trucks, face painting. Jaden said it best. It's about us coming together and sharing that space and time with our peers, with our parents, with community. They get adopted by the community every year.
So come out and get some face painting, enjoy a bounce house. And while you've got those people there, you've got resources there for them. For parents who maybe are struggling with, their kids maybe are getting into some activity they're not happy about, or they've got violence, some gang members as neighbors or whatever. Right. There are going to be resources there for them to connect with. So that's great. So come out for the food and stay for the community resources. Mm-hmm. You guys, this was your idea.
Yes. We've been planning this event since last year in July. So yeah.
Wow. And what made you say, "Hey, Lisa, we got to do a walk. We got to do a resource fair"?
Really, what made us do all this. Really, we did it the first year I worked there. Right. We haven't done it again. But then all the stuff in the community that's going on, we just needed something for us to level us, so that we can prevail through all types of violence, because in the city there's a lot of violence throughout the North Side, and we just needed something to bring us all together as a community.
A lot of gang violence, and they get these kids so young. They attract these kids so young to come into the gangs. It's amazing to see what you guys are doing, and then encouraging your friends to get involved too. That's so awesome. You've grown. I mean, A Mother's Love has grown.
Yes.
You've got several teens working for you now. I remember when it was just a couple of you ladies out there on the streets. Mm-hmm. Now you're a large team. Talk to me about how you guys have expanded.
I think people have the same idea we have now. I think people understand why A Mother's Love was created. When we started, it was about 70% of households being headed by African American mothers. So we felt like if you want to save a child, you have to save the mother. So we started talking about the reasons you save fathers and how you save the community by making sure that you're saving both at the same time and you get positive results in community.
How has that message been received of bringing it back to family?
Really, really big. I mean, I felt like it took forever for everybody to understand that this is what we need. It's about trauma. We can't say hurt people without realizing that you have to address all those layers of trauma in order for you to have this type of success. These are honor roll kids. He's going to college in his senior year. And it works if you have that investment in our youth, and that's what our Mother's Love Initiative does.
You know, Minneapolis has been through so much, and it was especially tough after 2020 because we had such a distrust of police. There's been a lot of work to try and rebuild that trust. How do you think the city is doing now?
I think the city is doing much better, but I think we need to understand you can't reform the police without reforming the community. You have to be able to do them both at the same time. The reason you have the police in your community like that is because they're responding to violence or things that are happening in your community. So we're working really hard together to reduce that need for the police to always be in community. So reform has to go two ways.
And they're lucky to have you as a partner over there at Minneapolis Police because they need the boots on the ground and the community members who are actually doing that work on their side. So it's amazing. Anything else you guys want to say about your event? Since you planned this, I want to give you guys the final word.
Well, I just want to say on August 22nd, just come out and have fun and be able to come together as a community because it's going to be a good time.
Yeah, it's, you come out, have fun. It's not, even if you're just there for the food, that's fine too.
And conversation about violence.
I just want to say thank you to everybody who's like committed to us as an organization, like our parents, our donors, and Dan and, is it Andrea? Andrea Luther for believing in us because they're trying to give us a full ride scholarship to one of us. So I just want to thank everybody who's played a part in our growth, and I want to thank Miss Lisa too because without her we wouldn't be here. So
yeah, Lisa's doing incredible work. All right, Mother's Love Community Violence Prevention Walk is this Saturday. It starts at 11 a.m. at the Cub Foods. How long are you guys going to go?
Well, the walk starts at 11 to 3 or 4. Depending on when people start to leave. We just want to make sure they leave with a full belly, good conversation, and resources to strengthen that family.
Amazing. The community wouldn't be the same without you, Lisa. Thanks for all you're doing.
Thank you for that.
Saturday, 11 a.m., Cub Foods on the north side of Minneapolis. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after this. don't mind me just vibing to our own song because we love music around here. And today is the Minneapolis Mile of Music. It's happening in Minneapolis until 8 o'clock tonight. So it's about to kick off in about 10 minutes, 4 to 8 p.m. It's a new citywide effort to bring music to neighborhoods and bring people out, frequenting local businesses, bars, and cultural venues. And I'm so lucky because we have one of the musicians joining us now, Shelly Kiala from the Contus Vocal Ensemble. Joins us now. Shelly, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Oh man, the audio is terrible. I don't know if this is going to work. Shelly, I'm so sorry. Your audio is really, really hard to hear. Let me see if you. Oh. Yeah, Paul, I don't think this is going to work.
The joys of live television. We were just doing a tech check before we came on the air and everything sounded great. Shelley and I were being able to have a chat, and now for some reason something's happened and we don't quite have it.
Well, you know what it probably is, Paul?
All the music.
So many people are coming to Minneapolis to hear the music that there's all these cell phones in the area, and then it impacts the signal. But I don't know, she just went inside. She might have a better signal inside that business. Maybe they've got Wi-Fi.
How you doing there, Shelley?
Is that any better?
No.
Not a lot, no. It's for some, I don't know.
I have an idea. We'll just mime through what the Mile of Music is. Perfect. Okay. It goes like this, and then like this, and then like this, ha.
Well, we were so excited to have Shelley on because we covered the press conference where this event was announced and that it was going to be taking place in August. This was back in July, I think July 30th potentially was when we spoke with Ben Johnson, who looks after the arts and culture, taking place in the Minneapolis City Council. And we were so excited to hear what was going on down there. I know that we do have a camera heading down to get to the Music Mile at some point today. That shot isn't live at the moment, so we were hoping we could chat to Shelley, who is one of the performers, like you said, at the Cantus Vocal Ensemble, that's taking part in the mile-long event.
Yeah, so this is Minneapolis's effort to kind of bring people out and enjoy the music scene, the rich art scene that Minneapolis has. The city is using $500,000 from its Small Business Resiliency Fund to support the arts and cultural programming. And it's all in an effort to help support businesses and arts venues, music spaces that were impacted by Operation Metro Surge, the immigration crackdowns that took place here over the winter. So this event is starting in St. Anthony, Maine. So there's a bunch of participating spots down there in St. Anthony, Maine, Astor Cafe, all kinds of places. And it's going until 8 o'clock. So if you want to check out the live music and visit some of your businesses and bars, you can head down to St. Anthony, Maine in Minneapolis. Right now it starts in about 7 minutes and it goes until 8.
Like I said, we do have a camera that's heading down to, and so if we see some of the live shots coming in from the Music Mile, we'll try and bring that to you so that you can see what we were talking about. Shelley is trying to log back on right now just to see whether maybe there was something to do with the connection.
Yeah, you let me know if we get Shelley back on. But you know, this is live television, Paul. This is
the joys. We've got to just roll with it. We just go from one thing to the next. It's like jazz. We just.
This is my arts performance. Poor Shelley too. You know, people make the time come in. Oh, Erica Mrazek just walked into the room, so we could always go to her.
We could always talk weather. How about we do that?
Well, she's not mic'd up yet, Paul.
Well, she'll be there in a second.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, why don't I try and bring something up that I definitely wanted us to talk about?
Oh my! Are
you prepared for this? Do you know what I'm about to do?
Yes, I do know. Yeah, I've got it. Okay.
All right. Well, we're going to see what we can do here in a segment that we all know and love called.
Wait, what's happening? This is where we take a look at what's trending on social media and comment on it like the fools we are.
This one is particularly fun.
This one is particularly foolish. So this has been going viral the last 24 hours. At the Iowa State Fair, there is a chicken calling contest. That's right. Contestants compete to find out who has the best chicken call. Watch this.
$127. $128. This would be 124, 124. $29, 129. Ladies! Come on, ladies, let's eat. Three. Come on, girls.
Ooh, okay, she threw in the, come on, girls. You want me to give it a go, Paul? You want me to give it a go?
I think we absolutely need to hear your chicken call. This is, and I'm going to go to full frame here. Come on, Courtney. I want to see this.
Only if you do it too.
Give it your best here, Courtney.
Okay. Here we go. Erica's sitting next to me. I don't think she can handle this. She can't handle it.
I'm giving my version.
Oh, you're up next, Erica.
No,
you're up
I
next.
said first before you asked. So.
Okay, here we go. I liked the ones that really did the accentuated long note. You know, you got to have the long note.
My favorite is the come here, girls. Is this something that we can do at the state fair here in Minnesota, or is this just in Iowa? Because I really want this to be at the state fair.
Listen,
here.
If this is a thing at the Minnesota State Fair, I'm entering.
Yeah.
I'm entering the contest. I will train. I'll train.
Yeah, I think you'd have to train. You wouldn't want to just go into this cold.
No.
No, you wouldn't want to be underprepared for the chicken calling event.
I don't know if you know this, but there's actually a chicken calling championship in London, Kentucky every year. So, yeah.
I want to know whether Erica will give it a go. Will Erica give it a go?
Paul, no. We're not going to Erica. You haven't given your call yet.
I just did it.
Full screen.
No, not full screen. No one needs to see that.
Full screen.
Okay. Come here, girls.
Your turn, Erica.
No, I can't do it.
Come on, Erica. This is your moment. This is your viral moment.
I would do it if we do it at the same time.
Okay, fine. Fine.
It's like when you're singing. It's like you can't sing alone.
No, they're doing.
It has to go back to me and Courtney together.
No, they're doing the slow zoom in on you, Erica, because this is your moment. Ready? We're a pair.
Down from 3.
We're a pair of chickens together on the farm. Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3.
I think I would give myself third place. I'm not very. Mine needs a lot more practice.
You do need a lot of work. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to hurt her feelings, but Erica needs some work.
I'll practice, and then if they do have it safer, I'll be ready by then.
Or we could all fly to Kentucky and compete in the national championships. Paul?
Do you need to qualify for that?
Probably. Did you know that mother hens talk to their chicks before they hatch?
I did not know that.
Yeah, well, I just found out because I had to learn. I wanted to feel inspired. I wanted to learn something about the chickens so that it could inspire my call.
Right.
Also, the good chicken callers imitate several different sounds, not just the buck, 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 but so that they call that clucking, I think, clucking.
Okay.
They have to know a rooster's crow and the sounds chickens make when they're excited or alarmed. Paul, what do you think the sound that the chicken makes when they're alarmed is?
Yeah, I feel like it's like a screech.
He is. I think he's out. He's out.
I think you got it. I think you got it. That's probably the noise. I think you got it.
Okay. Are we supposed to talk weather? Great weather for some chicken. I don't know.
I wonder what
chicken calling.
Chickens like.
Oh, chickens. I think chickens like all weather.
Okay.
I've been looking into chickens because my kids want some pet chickens. They can live outside even when it's like 20 below.
Wow.
They just grow another layer of feathers for the winter. So I don't think, but I would have to imagine they really like summer so that they can peck like the bugs out of the ground.
Right. My grandma had chickens, but then they got eaten by a fox. So.
All right.
All of them.
Wow. This turned real quick.
Anyways, chickens and the weather. The chickens then will love any 7-day forecast I have.
Perfect.
And also, I feel like you'll like it too, this one that I have, because it's going to be warm, temperatures in the 80s.
Love that.
They're going to stay pretty consistent, so low 80s pretty much every day. They'll just change by a couple degrees or two day to day. But it's going to feel a little different because of humidity, dew points, they are going to fluctuate. So tomorrow, it's going to be more humid, so it'll feel muggier with the southwest wind. And that combined with a front moving through it brings the chance for a couple isolated scattered showers, rumbles of thunder are possible, and then low end threat for some of those to have some hail and some damaging winds. So that's just a level 1 out of 5, but you still want to stay skyware for Thursday. And that'll be earlier for places up north and in the central part of the state. Then for the metro and places southeast, that's more afternoon, evening time frame. As then they go further southeast by the time you get to the overnight. And then after that, Friday's pretty nice. Low end chance for a shower or rumble Friday, but a lot of us are going to miss out on that. And then for the weekend, it'll be beautiful. High temperatures, about 80, and then lots of sunshine Saturday. Passing clouds Sunday, but still really nice, and the dew points are also going to feel super comfortable. And then after that, temperatures start to increase, and it could be a warm start to the state fair later in next week, Courtney. So,
should we send everyone to break with the chicken calling again? Because I think this needs to happen. I appreciate you, Erica. Thanks for coming in. We're unlike any show. By the way, imagine if you had never watched this show before.
Or imagine someone walking around in the hall right now. Outside of this
soundproof.
studio.
It's soundproof.
Or you go home and your husband's like, "How was work today?" And you're like, "Oh, I bounced like a chicken."
I clucked like a chicken on live television. So, if you're tuning
you never
in,
know what the day's gonna bring you.
If you're tuning in for the first time, welcome to All Day. I'm Courtney Godfrey and a burgeoning chicken clucker. So,
it's a new hobby.
Yeah, follow my journey on social media to becoming a professional chicken clucker.
I'll repost your posts so they get more.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, we're going to send you to break with the Iowa Chicken Clucking Contest.
$127. Come on, girls, let's go. 128. Eat chicken.
Welcome back. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is firing back at Minnesota leaders over a lawsuit demanding the extradition of ICE agent Christian Castro. We talked to Fox 9 investigator Paul Bloom about this yesterday. He's back now to talk about this response from Governor Abbott. Paul, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, Courtney, thanks for having me. There was the first court hearing in the case today. It was brief. It was about a 10-minute phone conversation. The case has been handed to a Texas district court judge down in this border town of Brownsville, Texas. That's where Christian Castro has been held behind bars since the end of May. And what we talked about yesterday, and this court hearing did confirm, Texas is going off of a 90-day window for a fugitive with a warrant. So because Castro was arrested when he was in May, the 90 days, it is official, expires next Thursday, a week from tomorrow, August 27th. And the attorneys down in Texas, the governor has an attorney in this case, and also the county sheriff who oversees the jail has an attorney in this case. And both attorneys agree with that August 27th date. And without the governor's signature on the warrant, Christian Castro can go free. But within the Minnesota court filings, they have asked for an emergency restraining order that would keep Castro in custody behind bars until they can adjudicate the whole extradition issue. And so we are on the clock. Clock is ticking. Both sides need to have written arguments in by Monday. And then Tuesday next week, this judge is going to hear a case down in Texas. So the Minnesota legal team from the Attorney General's office will have to go down to Texas and make this argument that there should be a restraining order put in place to hold this ICE agent in custody until they can figure out all of the logistics and mechanisms on the extradition side.
Okay, so you said today was a quick, hearing in court. It sounds like we might not learn anything more until next week. So I take it you didn't really get a sense from the governor's attorney today as to why they're not just following this extradition order.
Yeah, and you hit it off the head in your introduction to me today. While the attorneys didn't say anything, we did hear late yesterday from the governor himself down in Texas. He was at an event. We had tried to cue up the sound. I don't have that, but I do want to quote for you, Courtney, just to understand where Greg Abbott stands on this. Again, a Republican governor, red state. He is up for re-election. The way I read reports down there, it's a tight race. Obviously, ICE, Minnesota, ICE, politics, it all folds into this. Let me read what the governor said. He's quoted as saying, "First of all, I don't trust Tim Walz on anything, let alone something like this. Well, listen, while they, meaning Minnesota, are making demands, I got a demand of my own, and that is, it is time for Minnesota to step up and repay the USA and Americans for all the fraud they've committed in their state under federal programs." At that point, he got some applause from the crowd that was gathered. He continued, "I will not respond to them at all until they step up and do what's right and acknowledge their fault in the fraud that took place and fully repay the U.S. for the fraud they committed." So I was on your show yesterday. I kind of said, well, if the governor's going to not sign anything, he needs to do more than radio silence. Well, he blasted the radio on loud yesterday at that news conference, and he says this is about fraud, this is about Governor Walz. That's why ICE was in that state to begin with. I'm not signing the paperwork until Minnesota pays up. Now, it's unclear if he really can take that stance. The way I read a couple of the comments made at today's phone hearing that, they talked about, if the governor signs the warrant on the 89th day, it has the same effect as if he signed it on the first date. So there are still several days left for Governor Abbott to actually sign the paperwork. That said, my gut is maybe this goes until next week, and we just have to wait to see what the judge wants to do with it.
Yeah, he still could be compliant. He still has a few days to be compliant. But it sounds political. He is taking a political stance. He openly said, I think his wording was, I don't trust Governor Walz or something along those lines. But he made it clear last night in these statements that this is clearly a political move.
Right, and Minnesota officials at that news conference we were at yesterday, that was Attorney General Keith Ellison leading. It's his office that basically is representing Governor Walz. Also there was Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty. And both said this decision is not supposed to be about politics. There's wording in the Constitution that interstate extradition is sort of the rule of the land. Someone commits a crime in the state of Ohio and California wants them, Ohio sends them to California. If someone commits a crime in Texas and they're arrested up here in Minnesota trying to flee to the Canadian border, Minnesota sends the defendant back to Texas to face justice. And the point was from these politicians, Keith Ellison and Mary Moriarty, was this shouldn't be about politics. But clearly, yes, Governor Abbott in those remarks yesterday very much made it about not just politics, but it was really a personal attack on the governor, who, of course, ran for vice president in the last presidential election.
It'll be interesting to see how it unfolds. We can't wait to have you back next week when we actually get more insight in that court hearing as to why they haven't complied.
You think Fox 9 sends me down to the
highly doubt it.
District Court in Brownsville, Texas, to be in the courtroom for that one? But no, we will follow it closely. We'll see what the arguments are on paper. And again, the governor technically does still have this final, 7 days, if you will. He's on the clock until next Thursday to officially comply with a 90-day warrant. So let's see what happens. But I'll be with you, next week, I'm sure, no doubt.
All right, great. Paul Bloom, thanks for joining us.
You bet.
All right, that was Paul Bloom with our Fox 9 investigators updating us on a court hearing that happened this morning there in Brownsville, Texas, regarding this extradition order. Minnesota wants Christian Castro. He's an ICE agent who shot a man in the leg and then allegedly lied about what happened to authorities. He's now charged here in the state of Minnesota, but Governor Greg Abbott refuses to extradite him here. Now they have sued to try and make that happen. And as you heard, they had their first court hearing this morning, and we'll learn more next week in another court hearing. We are going to go to a quick break, but we'll be back pretty soon with more. Today, the Minnesota United FC celebrates 10 years. In that 10 years, the Loons have gone from a fledgling expansion team playing at one of the local university fields to a prolific club with a committed fan base and a permanent home in the heart of Midway. Joining me now to talk about this 10-year anniversary is the former head coach and current chief development officer, Manny Lagos. Manny, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. Very excited. I'm at the stadium right now. I do have to correct you in a very fun, good way. It is our 10-year anniversary in MLS. We are also celebrating 50 years of pro soccer in Minnesota, going back to 1976 when the Minnesota Kicks started off. So we have two celebrations. We have a ton of players from the 50 years that live here and have made their livelihood in this community. And then we have the smaller group of about 6 to 8 players who are coming back for the 10-year anniversary. It's going to be a great celebration. We're going to have a ton of fans, so many good memories in the long term and short term.
That's awesome. Yeah, you play Atlanta tonight at 7:30 here at home. That should be quite the game. So much has happened in 10 years. Starting with the fact that you were the head coach, so now you're the chief development officer, so your role has changed in 10 years. But some notable things. The team has really developed. I read some stats about, their record back in 2017 compared to now. But why don't you just give me a tidbit of what has changed in that decade?
Yeah, I just think, obviously when we started out, I think in 2013, going for the MLS bid and getting it and getting so excited about building Allianz Field. And our first 2 years were expansion years. We learned a lot. And we built into Allianz Field. And I love that the celebration is here because this is a privately funded stadium by our owners where our fans feel so a part of the team because they were part of the journey before we were MLS and part of the bid. So what's going to happen tonight is more than just the game in the field. And by the way, the game in the field is huge. We need 3 points. We're right in the playoff line. We had a great game in Real Salt Lake. And I just think this moment tonight adds to it because it's such a celebration for our former players, but even more importantly for our fans. And you kind of alluded to it. Our fans are the heartbeat of this club. They've been through thick and thin with us. They have this great relationship with the players. And it's just such a special place, Allianz Field. Like, there's nothing like it. One of the best in the country.
In those 10 years, how do you think Minnesota has embraced soccer?
I mean, it's obviously you sell out 20,000 a game and you have the environment we have here. I mean, obviously, I'm somebody who grew up here. I grew up in St. Paul, went and played for about 17 years professionally before I came back and coached in GM for 14 years. And so it is still continuing to grow. I get so excited about how many players are in our academy from Minnesota that are on the second team. And hopefully, we have one player who's on the first team from Woodbury. So I just want that spark to continue to grow. And I know it is because part of our goal is to be obviously win champs on the field, but it's to impact the community. And I know that kids who watch the World Cup this summer, who comes to games at Allianz Fields, they're dreaming about one day being a pro soccer player. So again, our goal is to inspire and unite. Sometimes it's on the field and winning, hopefully tonight, but it's also off the field in the community.
I do want to talk to you about the community work you do because you do a lot with the youth and just, introducing kids to soccer. You also do a lot, I know you've got like the amputee soccer team now that you've teamed up with. So just talk to me about some of that community work that you guys have stepped into in this last decade.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always want to give a shout out to both our unified team. That's the Special Olympics team. And then you just mentioned it. We have our wheelchair soccer team, Power Soccer. They're amazing. They're so good playing in wheelchairs. Two of my favorite groups that we signed them. They're part of our team. They're part of the club. And then just in general, when you think about the energy of Allianz Field in 20,000, and it is on that day about winning and trying to win trophies. But through that, again, our fans and the collection of fans that we grow is way bigger than 20,000. It is growing the sport in the state. It's making it relevant for the elite players, but it's also making it relevant for every boy and girl that wants to play soccer and have a great experience. So, again, we put a lot of energy and effort to partner with clubs. Obviously, the Sana Foundation is one of our great partners who does a great job with us, and we have a couple of exciting announcements coming over the next couple of months. And our goal is just to use it to get growth. And it's such a great sport for kids. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It's very accessible. And our goal is to make it accessible for every boy and girl in the state so they can fall in love with the sport.
You've got 15 games left in the regular season. What is your goal for the rest of this season? I mean, you're still potentially in postseason contention. What do you hope to see these next 15 games? And what do you think the fans should be looking for?
Yeah, I think our fans are nervous in a good way. We had a great start to the season, then we had a huge 7-week break for the playoffs. For the World Cup. And it was almost like having two seasons. We started up again. We lost in KC. And we had a couple decent ties at home. but our fans are craving a win because we haven't had a win at home since the World Cup. We're right on the playoff line. So again, I said tonight, very special night. It is about honoring the history of Minnesota soccer, but it's also about this team getting back to winning at home. Traditionally, we've been a powerhouse at home. We've won a lot of games and points here. This year, we've been a little sluggish at home. So by winning tonight, I think that puts us right in line of getting into the playoffs. So we still have 2 months. But like I said, the great thing about tonight is celebrating the history of soccer. And this club, over the last 10 years, we have an expectation of making the playoffs and making a playoff run. We haven't won a championship yet. That's our goal. But we are now one of those teams that, perennially we tend to make the playoffs. So that's our goal. And tonight would go a long way to that.
So I'm reading that the Loons have only gone head-to-head with Atlanta 4 times across all competitions.
Yeah, it's fascinating. They were our first game when we entered MLS. I'm not going to tell you the scoreline. It was not our best day. We played them in another tournament called the U.S. Open Cup for a championship trophy, which they won down in Atlanta 2-1. Exciting game. I think we got the best of them 2 years ago in Atlanta 1-0. So with COVID, we ended up kind of not playing as many of the Eastern Conference teams. They are a powerhouse. They have a lot of superstar players, but they're struggling as a team and as a group this year. So on paper, we will be favored tonight, and those are the kind of games that we need to start winning more. But let me tell you, it's going to be a great game on the field because Atlanta's got some big-time star power. And again, I think we're starting to get our feet and playing really well.
And fun fact, unless I've read this incorrectly, Atlanta was the first team to beat you guys on home turf.
They were. It was actually our first home game ever. It wasn't here. It was at TCF while we were building the stadium. We played at now it's Huntington and Bake Stadium. It was a snow day. We had inches of snow, and somehow we didn't come out on the top. But it was such a special day. It's still one of our most memorable days in club history. Along with when we talk about 10 years, we talk about some amazing events. I just remember our first goal in Allianz Field was scored by this amazing Cuban soccer player, Ozzy Alonso, who just crushed the side volley. He'll be here tonight. The fans loved him. They'll cheer him on. Another great moment was last year. We had one of the best comebacks in MLS history in the playoffs. We were down 2-0, down a man, came back, beat Seattle in PKs to go to the Conference Western semifinals. So we've had some really special moments in the last 10 years. And again, that's kind of what it's about. You brought up some stats about this team tonight. They're part of our history. And like I said, we've had some really good moments in this stadium.
Yeah, I think it'd be pretty poetic to blow Atlanta out of the water on the 10-year anniversary. What should fans expect if they want to come to the game tonight?
Oh, I think you're going to feel a lot of energy and love. Again, if you're looking at this right now, obviously we have players coming to get here like 5 for some photos. They're going to do some autographs outside the stadium from 5:30 to 6:30, and those pregame festivities start a little bit like around 7:20. So anybody who's coming tonight and want to pay homage to the players from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, and obviously our MLS iteration, this is a really special night.
All right, wonderful. Manny Lagos, the Chief Development Officer for the Minnesota Loons. We so appreciate you coming on the show.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it, Courtney.
All right, and the Loons play tonight against Atlanta at 7:30 here at home. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after this. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on All Day Live. Let's reset now and give you a check of your headlines. Attorneys faced off in federal court today over Minnesota's new nudification law, which bans AI-generated nude images of people without their consent. Elon Musk's AI company, xAI, is challenging the law, arguing it violates free speech. Attorney General Keith Ellison says the law is narrowly tailored to stop a growing form of image-based sexual abuse, and argues xAI is unlikely to succeed in its challenge. And Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison, busy today, also released new documents and accusing Fleet Farm of ignoring warnings about a customer who was buying guns for straw purchases. Ellison sued the retailer Fleet Farm back in 2022, alleging it negligently sold 37 guns to straw purchasers, including one later used in a 2021 truck park shooting in St. Paul. Fleet Farm settled the case for $1 million in February, but the company continues to deny the allegations. Texas Governor Greg Abbott is firing back at Minnesota over a lawsuit demanding the extradition of ICE agent Christian Castro. Castro is accused of shooting a man in the leg this past winter during Operation Metro Surge and then allegedly lying about what happened. Abbott is refusing to approve the extradition, citing Minnesota's handling of fraud cases and saying he doesn't trust state officials. Minnesota argues Abbott is legally required to return Castro so he can face the charges here. And 3 men accused of being members of the Muddy Gang have agreed to stay away from the Minnesota State Fair this year. The agreement filed today also bars them from designated areas around the fairgrounds during the fair's run. It all comes after Ramsey County and the Attorney General's office sued to keep the 2 rival gangs away from the fair, citing concerns over potential violence. And finally, MyPillow founder Mike Lindell says he'll pay for a statewide hand recount of Minnesota's Republican primary ballot after losing to Lisa Damuth by more than 45,000 votes. Lindell claims there were irregularities in the election night reporting data, but state officials have denied those claims. All right, do we have Erica? Are we going to do a check of weather?
Well, there was one more headline that I thought was worthy of discussing that you and I were discussing in the newsroom earlier today. Do you love it when I put you on the spotlight?
I'm very nervous.
You know, My Chemical Romance tickets cheaper than a beer at Target Fields.
This is not surprising to me. And
surprising? My Chemical Romance are one of the biggest bands back in the early 2000s.
Paul, ask the rest of our team. Last week, I was sitting at my desk and I said, My Chemical Romance thinks they can sell out Target Field. They're like an Armory show.
That's still a big deal. That's still a big deal.
The Armory is wonderful. I've been to shows there. I actually would probably take the Armory over Target Field for a show. I'm just saying, I think they went a little over their skis on this one. Do you know that phrase in Australia?
I do know that saying. Yes,
okay.
I do know that saying.
You guys don't ski much in Australia.
We don't ski a lot in Australia. That's true.
I think they got out over their skis a little bit, and
I still think that I can see why they tried, but now, it looks like there's a whole bunch of people trying to get refunds on their tickets to then buy the cheaper tickets. It's
well, that doesn't make any sense. So you're going to try and sell your tickets
that you spent. No, they're trying to get a refund because the prices are.
That's not
so
how
disparate.
it works.
I know.
Ticketmaster is going to laugh in their face.
People are trying it.
We bought kind of similar. We bought Ed Sheeran tickets during the pre-sale, and we paid $300 a piece for those tickets. And then our friends came with us, and they were like, "Oh, let us know what we owe you." And we went on StubHub, and I was like, Ryan, we can't charge them $300. They're reselling right now for $150 in our section. So, and they were, of course, doing like the 2-for-1 specials to try and fill out the stadium. So hot take, not so surprised, and I feel bad for My Chemical Romance. I think they thought they were more popular than they are.
Yeah, it might inspire a whole new era of emo songs.
I think so. Songs about not being able to fill out a stadium.
Empty stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you look at Ticketmaster and all the resale sites like StubHub right now, there are other shows it's very much the same. Like, I guess they're playing Denver and some other locations, and those tickets are very similar. It's like $50 for a ticket, $30 for a ticket. I looked today, and you can get some pretty good seats, like first level going up, not on the floor, but first level going up for $35. Ooh. And then there were reports this morning that there were tickets in the upper deck for $12.
Which is like a little bit shocking that $12 is the price. It's like they're cheaper than the beer. That means that the beers at Target Field are over $12.
That means the beer is worth more money than Chemical Romance.
Yeah.
Can you name one of their songs?
Welcome to the Black Parade, or is that the album? I don't know. Something like that.
Honestly, can't name a song.
I did like them.
Sure. I know they've had some hits on the radio. I just think...
if I didn't have an 11-week-old, I would...
A 0-year-old,
A
yeah.
0-year-old, I would be heading to see My Chemical Romance.
Would you?
Yeah, I would. For $12? Who wouldn't?
For $12. In fact, we all sat in the newsroom, we're like, hey, the all-day crew, maybe we should all
group
go.
outing.
Yeah, group outing Monday night. Monday night at Target Field. So, you know who's also playing Target Field this weekend?
Erica Mrazek. No.
What?
I thought you were trying to do a segue to the weather. No? Sorry.
No, that would have been cutesy, but Garth Brooks is playing.
Oh.
Yeah, Sunday night.
How much are his tickets?
Oh, probably much more.
Yeah.
Probably much more. So yeah, he's playing Sunday night. I've seen him. He's great, but I feel like those country music stars, they can sell out Target Field. My Chemical Romance?
Yeah. Well, it's evident. It's not possible.
Yeah, but you know what? Hey, for once, you can go to a concert at an affordable price. So we're complaining about all these
Bougie
expensive...
Budget and Basic is going to be easy this week.
Yeah, let me tell you. Whoever's on the budget, they're going to Chemical Romance. All right. We don't have Erica yet, though, Paul? We have Erica. Great. Erica Mrazek, you going to head to My Chemical Romance? Monday's your day off.
It is my day off. I mean, no hate to them, but I just learned who they were right now.
Okay.
So
Well,
I've never heard of them before.
But for $12?
What kind of, it's like emo music?
Yeah.
Is it like metal? Like.
No, it's like pop.
Okay.
Pop emo.
Oh, like emo as in like Noah Kahan emo, or as in like emo?
Oh man, I'm not really familiar with Noah Kahan.
It's
so...
like sad.
Okay.
Or emo. Like emo.
When we have like a 23-year-old and a 39-year-old trying to meet somewhere in the middle on music, it's a struggle.
Because emo, I feel like back in the day meant like, you know, you wear black and like.
Yeah. I think these guys wear eyeliner,
like,
not
things like that. But emo these days to a Gen Zer means like emotional. So like Megan Maroney's emo because she's emotional.
Okay, so Phoebe Bridgers is emo.
Yeah, because she's emotional. And same with like Noah Kahan, he's emo because it's.
Okay, so if you express feelings, you're emo.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm feeling emo right now. Like I'm feeling sad.
Okay, so unless if you're just singing about partying and boys, then you're not emo. But
Yeah,
if you're
that's
singing
the
about
opposite.
having actual real life feelings, you're emo. Got it.
Correct. Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you're looking for something to do on Monday night, My Chemical Romance at Target Field, tickets are like $20, so go for it.
I mean, my Monday's open, I think. I'd have to check my calendar.
Yeah.
But...
How is the weather on Monday? Is everybody going to get rained on at Target Field?
Monday right now looks pretty fine. Some passing clouds Monday, pretty warm. And then before that, though, there is a chance for a couple showers and some rumbles of thunder. But today it's beautiful. There's an area of high pressure right over Minnesota, so we are dry here. However, south of the state, there are some showers and some thunderstorms, but those are staying south, so it is going to stay pretty dry here. The past few hours, there were a couple showers, storms in the southwest corner, southwest of Marshall, but that was about it in terms of your precipitation through your Wednesday. And then current temperatures, those are fairly warm, 80 here in the Twin Cities metro, basically all 70s elsewhere except for Grand Marais, and the low 60s. And this is a very comfortable 80, 70s high temperature because the dew points are low, so it feels quite comfortable for the middle of this week. Light breeze, that's moving in from the north and the west, and then into tomorrow, that's going to shift to be from the south and west. So when that does that, temperatures, they're still going to be 80s for the highs, but it'll bring in some moisture, so warmer dew points on Thursday. So you have humid air, you have a front moving through, and that brings you a chance for a few showers and some possible storms on Thursday. Right now, level 1 to 5 risk for some of those to be a bit stronger, possibly some wind, possibly some hail. So just stay sky aware for tomorrow, but low-end threat. And then after that, the rest of the week is looking pretty quiet. There's a low chance for a shower and rumble on Friday, but most are going to miss out on that. So overall, Friday's looking quite nice. And then after that, the weekend just absolutely beautiful. Sunny on Saturday, low dew points both days of the weekend, and high temperatures low 80s. And then into next week, there could be some warmer temperatures, especially in the middle of the week, towards the end of the week. So starting the State Fair could be a little bit warm, Courtney, for in a couple days. Courtney.
Erica, I was listening to you, but I was drinking my water. Anyway, are we going to take a break before we go to Nathan? Okay, sounds good. So, Erica, we appreciate you. Thanks for that weather forecast. Beautiful evening. Get outside if you can. He brought you back up on camera, by the way, because I was so rude. I wasn't paying attention.
Well, that's just, I took your break last hour, so that's just you finally getting your water break now. So
have you been practicing your clucking?
No. Tonight before I go to bed, I will. I'll practice it every night, so then by the State Fair, it can be ready.
It's going to be all over the internet by the time you go to bed tonight, Erica. So prepare yourself.
I bet my mom's going to send it to me. She's going to be like, look what I found.
I found you and your new coworkers clucking like chickens. Wow, Erica.
And then my dad would probably send a picture of like a chicken emoji.
Perfect. I love your dad. That sounds great. That's such a dad thing to do.
It is, and like a thumbs up.
All right. Well, if anybody missed it, we'll post it online on our social channels later. But yes, we did cluck like chickens because there's a clucking competition at the Iowa State Fair. We're lobbying now to get it at the Minnesota State Fair. And Erica's the first one to sign up. She'll be number one in the competition.
No, you'll be first. I'll be second.
Okay.
Because first is the worst, second is the best. No, I'm kidding.
Ooh.
I'm kidding. Yours is better than me. Yours is better than me.
I love it. All right. Thanks, Erica.
Thanks.
After the break, we're going to bring in Fox 9 investigator Nathan O'Neill to talk about these new developments in the Attorney General's fight with Fleet Farm. That's after the break. Welcome back. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison is releasing new documents today in his ongoing fight with Fleet Farm. It all has to do with straw purchases, and Fox 9 investigator Nathan O'Neill joins us now to fill us in. So, Nathan, you've been covering this fight with Fleet Farm for a while now. What's the development that happened today?
So this is kind of the end of the road for this lawsuit, right? So it was settled back in February after years of litigation, Fleet Farm fighting to withhold documents and evidence from the state. But today was a big day in which they basically released all of this evidence, more than nearly 700 documents, court records, internal records from the company itself, surveillance video, training records, videos, all having to do with that lawsuit that was brought by the state of Minnesota and the Attorney General here, which accused the retailer of not doing enough to stop illegal straw purchases, which is when someone who can legally pass a background check goes and buys a gun for somebody who cannot. And what they were able to prove or lay out in their case involved a couple different people who they tracked the number of guns that they were buying and how those ended up in crime scenes across the Twin Cities. Most notably, had a scene in St. Paul, in downtown St. Paul, back in 2021, a mass shooting there that killed a young woman and injured 14 others. So it's been a long road, but basically what we've got today is all of the evidence. And tonight we're working on a big story, kind of breaking all this down for everybody on Fox 9. And we're going to walk through the evidence, walk through some surveillance video, and kind of what actually made this case for the Attorney General.
Okay, so usually when you have a settlement, a company or an individual settles because they don't want the evidence to get out there. They don't want to go to trial. So how did we get to this place where Fleet Farm agreed to release this stuff?
So it was actually part of the settlement. It was probably a month out from the actual trial that was set to take place. There was years of infighting trying to get some of these pieces of evidence to the Attorney General, but for all intents and purposes, the state was ready to take this to trial and show all of this evidence to a jury and let them make the decision on this. Fleet Farm apparently did not want that to happen, so they agreed to this settlement, which basically said they had to pay $1 million to the state. They had to make a bunch of changes in how they track the sale of guns and straw purchases, some of their software that kind of communicates between stores. But another part of that settlement was making all of these records public so the public could see what was going on.
We know about that really high-profile case, the 2021 truck park shooting. But with this evidence, did we get a better look at who maybe was obtaining these guns, the type of people that were getting their hands on guns through these straw purchasers?
We've done a few stories over the last several years that kind of allude to that. Obviously, the mass shooting in St. Paul you're talking about, but there was another case where a 6-year-old boy found a loaded handgun that was discarded in his front yard in South Minneapolis. That also was purchased from Fleet Farm by one of these straw buyers that ended up just kind of out in the community. Today, we also learned that there were a number of guns that were recovered involving people who are not supposed to have guns, prohibited people, connected to robberies, carjackings, and all. There were several dozen guns that were sold by Fleet Farm to straw buyers. But today, the Attorney General pointed out that nearly half of those guns still remain out in the community. They do not know who has them or where they are, and they still pose a very real public safety threat to the community.
Wow. I know that Fleet Farm in the past has denied these allegations. Have they commented today at all with this evidence dump?
For the past several years, they've denied wrongdoing. And even as part of this settlement, they do not admit to any wrongdoing or make any admissions to this. But they did provide us a statement that basically says that they were glad that this agreement came to fruition, and that they look forward to working with law enforcement and other community leaders to really make sure that the community is safe. So a lot of the work that they're going to be doing is kind of baked into the settlement, and that's kind of where all the accountability will rest.
You know, presumably straw purchases are taking place at stores all over the place. There are many, many, many different big box retailers, small local shops that sell guns. Why has the Attorney General really taken aim at this retailer?
Well, the Attorney General will tell you flat out that this caught their radar because of the fact that one of those guns surfaced at that mass shooting, because it had a very real consequence when it comes to human life. They traced it back, and they convicted the individuals that were involved in the shooting. They convicted the person who bought the gun, the straw buyer. But the Attorney General says that it doesn't stop there. There was some culpability, at least on the retailer's part, and that's why they decided to file that lawsuit several years ago. As you know, there are other lawsuits that are ongoing with the state of Minnesota targeting the gun industry as well. There's the lawsuit against Glock, a manufacturer, and the Attorney General has made it very clear that if there are any other retailers out there that are acting in this way, that he has no problem going after them as well.
I am curious too, and sorry, I was just looking, if other retailers now have taken note of this, of these court proceedings, Fleet Farm having to settle with the state of Minnesota, if maybe other retailers have changed their policies as a result.
Yeah, we don't know that for sure, but that's definitely the hope that the Attorney General's office has, especially going out and showing the public what was going on. They're hoping that the retailers can kind of look where those missteps happen, where the failures may have happened, and reassess their own protocols and their own internal business dealings to kind of take it on themselves so it never gets to the point that there needs to be a lawsuit.
Very interesting. Nathan O'Neill, I really appreciate you. You've really dug into this story on a level that, our daily reporters cannot. So I really appreciate you filling us in.
Sure thing.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back after this. Welcome back. As we round up the show today, we just want to take you back to some of our top stories of the day, and that included attorneys facing off in federal court today over Minnesota's new nudification law, which bans AI-generated nude images of people without their consent. Elon Musk's AI company, xAI, has now sued the state of Minnesota, claiming that this ban is a violation of free speech. Attorney General Keith Ellison and lawmaker Erin May Quaid responded to those claims today outside of the courtroom.
The consequences of this nudification technology are vast. Nudification technology makes it so that any person anywhere who is near someone with a phone could be turned into child sexual abuse material or non-consensual pornography or have image-based sexual violence occur. That is not the world we want to live in. This is technology that does not need to exist. Our law is narrow. It is specific to the conduct we want to regulate. It implicates nothing else. And we took a tremendous amount of time to make sure that we were able to get a very good law on the books. And we did it over the course of 2 years. At no point did Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, and his $1 trillion and his company come and say, hey, fix this. Please don't pass this. This isn't good or helpful. Here's how we can work with you. Literally not a word until 3 days before the law was set to go into effect. The harm has been immense. Research has shown that 96% of nudified images are non-consensual and that 99% are of women and children. The problem.
All right, that was lawmaker Erin May Quaid. She was behind the nudification law ban. She was one of the chief authors, and now she's speaking out outside federal court today as Elon Musk and his company, xAI, have sued the state of Minnesota to try and stop that law from going into effect, again, because they claim it's an infringement on free speech. All right, we want to end this show on a lighter note, so we bring you some news out of New Jersey. Adorable footage shows the unlikely friendship between a baby bison and a joey kangaroo at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson Township, New Jersey. Watch this. Oh, look at these two. You kidding me? Video shared by the amusement park, which is also home to a 350-acre wild safari, shows Gertie the bison lapping up physical affection from its marsupial pal, Penny. Gertie and Penny, how cute. According to Six Flags Great Adventure, the unlikely duo have become inseparable behind the scenes at the wild safari. Now, I didn't Google this, Paul, but do bison and kangaroo, is there anywhere in the world where they exist together? I don't think so.
No, just in captivity. It would only be in captivity. When I read this, I saw this popped up. It was an unlikely Aussie-American friendship. I thought we were doing a segment about you and I.
Truly. Oh, we're friends? We're friends?
Oh.
I'm just kidding.
This is going to be an uncomfortable 2.5 minutes.
I'm just kidding. You're one of my. You're one
advert.
of my favorite Australians.
I'll take that. I think you've probably met a few.
I know like 2.
Oh, so I'm one of the faves.
Yeah.
Okay.
JK.
It's been a great day. Is it almost 5?
Pull up this other video for me, Paul.
Okay. Which one? Which is the other one?
The elephants.
Oh,
All
the
right.
elephants. Here we go.
This is great. The members of the Miami-Dade Fire Department decided to give these elephants a unique opportunity by hosing them off with their big fire hoses. Take a watch. That was the wrong music, Paul, but we'll forgive you. These Asian elephants at a local zoo beat the heat by being hosed down by the local fire department with streams of water too powerful for most species, but just right for these giant creatures. The video was from Tuesday, yesterday, and it shows the firefighters from Miami-Dade interacting with the elephants and community members on Tuesday. The water and pressure provided mental and physical stimulation as part of the zoo's ongoing efforts to keep the animals in its care active, healthy, and engaged. No comment from Paul Milgate, our animal specialist himself?
Oh, I mean, it's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Nice thing to see. That's a nice way to end the day.
I would like to, when on these really hot days, like we saw those stretches of like 95, 98 degrees back in July. why wasn't the Eden Prairie Fire Department outside of Fox 9 hosing us down?
Us all down. Well, to give you some context in zoos, sometimes they'll use high pressure hoses like this to actually stop animals from attacking each other. So if they introduce like two lions, breeding lions or breeding tigers, they might actually have to use the hose. So to give you that context, that's just how big and tough elephants are, is that this is actually just a nice little shower. Little tickle for them.
And it does look lovely. It looks like a nice little treat on a hot summer day there in Miami. All right, I'm going to be off tomorrow. I've got a charity event that I'm attending. Simone will be here in my place. She's going to do a great job. All day we'll be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Simone will take the desk here at 2. Taking over for now is Kelsey and Simone with your 5 o'clock news.
Fox 9 News at 5.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us here on Fox 9. I'm Simone Woolridge.
And I'm Kelsey Carlson. We have a lot that we're following today, including a legal battle over AI deepfakes.
Yeah, why Elon Musk is suing Minnesota to stop a new law targeting fake explicit photos. And what happened when we put AI to the test. So Corin Hoggard will have that story. And ignored warnings and deadly consequences. A trove of newly unsealed documents and surveillance video actually reveals how a local fleet farm allowed dozens of guns to be sold to an illegal straw buyer despite obvious red flags. And then he was a high school state champion, also a gopher and a great teammate as well. Tonight, the local hockey world is remembering Scott Bloom.